In the second half, and that settled it. Word for the travelling Wednesday fans who, remember, are travelling to see a relegated team. They've been amazing with their singing. It is finished. Hull 3, Wednesday 1.
We heard from Will Perry not long ago that Southampton have won. They have the final playoff spot as things stand. Wrexham, though, level on points with them. Sonny Rajavajula.
Sheffield United 1, Wrexham 2. Wrexham turning it around to keep up that playoff push. United with a host of chances. Andre Brooks bundling home early in the second, but Windas's cool finish, fed by Sam Smith, and a diving header from their front man to win it. Smith's 9 in all, mean it's Sheffield United 1, Wrexham 2.
Portsmouth's relegation fears have not been eased this afternoon. They have been thrashed. Jonathan Ledyard.
6-1 the final score at Queen's Park Rangers. 6 in the sunshine for Queen's Park Rangers, long-suffering home supporters after their recent drought. 3 in the first half, 3 in the second. Doubles for Paul Smith, Ryan Colley, Richard Kone, including a penalty. In between, John Swift gave them hope, but they didn't finish as good as they should have done. Instead now, 5 defeats in 6. Their relegation fears deepen, and the goal difference has taken a massive hit. QPR's biggest win of the season, biggest win in 6 years. 6-1 they've beaten Portsmouth.
Yeah, it doesn't help that West Brom have won at Bristol City. Leicester have got a point this afternoon in a goalless draw at Watford. At the Valley, it finished Charlton 0, Norwich 1. Let's go into League One. The leaders just keep winning. Sam Ashew.
They certainly do, Mark. It ends Lincoln 3, Rotherham 0. 3 first half Lincoln goals meant this one was over before the break. The first going down is a Ted Cannon goal after he failed to keep out Rico Hackett. Shot Ben House made it 2 after Hackett pulled it back. Hackett then getting his goal with a simple finish from 8 yards out. He was sensational, as were Lincoln. The Imps are flying towards the championship. It ends Lincoln 3, Rotherham 0.
Elsewhere in League One, wins for Doncaster and Burton and Leyton Orient. Mansfield, Plymouth beat Huddersfield. Port Vale beat Bolton this afternoon. Stevenage and Wigan. The other games ended in draws. We heard that the League One leaders have won. The League Two leaders have won as well. Paul Scott.
They're unbeaten in 21 matches. They move 5 points clear of the summit of League Two. It's finished Bromley 1, Colchester 0. Nicky Kabamba's emphatic close-range finish in the 73rd minute separating the two teams. In addition to that, they hit the woodwork once in each half. Colchester hit it in the first. It's a defeat that probably ends their hopes of a playoff place. Bromley 1, Colchester 0.
Cambridge, Barnet, Chesterfield, Fleetwood, Grimsby, Notts County, Oldham, Crewe, Swindon and Walsall, the other winners in League Two. Give you the full classifieds a little bit later on. They're still playing at Gillingham, where Bristol Rovers lead by 2-1, as well as Hearts winning the Scottish Premiership. St Mirren won at Falkirk. Kilmarnock beat Livingston. Motherwell and Hibs ended goalless. Let's go into the Gallagher Prem. James Burridge at Northampton.
Gripping finish. Northampton holding on 28-27. Very poor Saints by their own standards. Litchfield thought he'd won it in the 77th minute. Christie then scored under the post for Newcastle. Saints' defensive set held on, and they held on by just a point. 28-27. They go top.
Thank you. Gloucester won at Harlequins. Exeter are beating Sale as they approach the full-time whistle there. Warrington have thrashed Castleford in Super League. Tomorrow's 5 Live Sport has full commentary of the League Cup final. Before that, it has full commentary of Spurs against Nottingham Forest. Still to come tonight, full commentary of Everton against Chelsea after Sports Report, which is next.
We got to start with what's going on in Iran.
Heavy explosions have been heard in Jerusalem and the Iranian capital Tehran overnight.
BBC Radio 5 Live.
Let's turn to Iran and the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran has made clear is close to its enemies.
Tehran has continued to launch rockets at Israel.
The surface fleet is no longer a factor.
We are ready to defend ourselves as long as it takes.
Polling does suggest that this war is not popular.
If this starts to be the new normal of where we are, the predictions of a 13% rise in the price cap in July will be underestimated.
BBC Radio 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Good afternoon, I'm Mark Chapman. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live at just after 5 o'clock, and this is Sports Report. The headlines this Saturday tea time. Danny Welbeck scores twice as Liverpool go down to a 10th league defeat of the season.
Early cross in, looking for Welbeck. Big balls arriving. Welbeck! The flag stays down and Brighton lead. Liverpool carved open.
Liverpool's defeat means Chelsea can go fourth with a win at Everton. That's our 5:30 commentary. Conor McNamara.
Chelsea arrive a bit bruised, having lost their last 3 games in a row. Everton looking to win back-to-back Premier League home games at this stadium for the very first time.
After 6 hours and 43 minutes without a goal, Fulham score 3 to beat Burnley. Leeds play Brentford at 8 o'clock. Hearts beat Dundee to stay top of the Scottish Premiership. Rangers will go second if they win against Aberdeen in the 5:45. It's been a good day so far for the Championship leaders Coventry. They play Swansea at 5:15, but Middlesbrough have drawn at Blackburn and they hold on to second place after Ipswich and Millwall share the points at Portman Road. There are wins though for playoff chasing Hull, Southampton and Wrexham. Derby are also closing in on the top 6 after beating Birmingham. West Brom beat Bristol City to get their first Championship away win since October. QPR hit Portsmouth for 6 and they remain in big trouble at the bottom, although Leicester stay in the relegation zone after being held at Watford. Lincoln are now 7 points clear at the top of League One after a win against Rotherham. Second place Cardiff are held to a goalless draw by Blackpool. Bromley increased their lead at the top of League One after they beat Colchester, and second place MK Dons lose at home to Barnet. Cambridge just 2 points further back after beating Salford. Bunny Shaw gets the fastest ever WSL hat-trick as leaders Manchester City thrash Spurs, Manchester United and Arsenal win. Chelsea are held. There's a narrow win for Northampton over Newcastle to go back to the top of Rugby Union's Prem, and Warrington scored 12 tries in a thumping Super League win over Castleford. Keely Hodgkinson qualifies fastest for the 800 metres final at the World Indoor Athletics. Reaction to all the day's big stories to come, and I'll bring you all of today's football results in England and Scotland, and there have been just 2 of them in the Premier League. Brighton 2, Liverpool 1 and Fulham 3, 10-man Burnley 1. We'll start with that lunchtime game. Danny Welbeck getting both goals for the home side as they beat Liverpool 2-1. John Southall.
Well, the first thing to say, Mark, is that much credit must go to Brighton. They were excellent all afternoon and should have won by more than 2 goals to 1. But where do you start with Liverpool? There should be some soul searching this evening after that second half performance in particular. Right back is a clear issue. 3 different players played in that position in the second half, none of them successfully. Yankuba Minter had an absolute field day down that left-hand side, though Liverpool say he should have been sent off in the first half. Ibrahima Konate also had a day to forget. He was eventually hooked with Gravenberch going into centre-back. By the end of the game, there were square pegs in round holes all over the pitch. It was, you have to say, a real mess at times for Liverpool. The tail of the game, 1-1 at half-time after Welbeck and Kirkes traded goals. Welbeck added the decisive second in the second half, tapping in a Hinchelwood pullback. He wasn't named in the England squad at 35, but it's 4 goals in his last 5 games now for Welbeck. So Brighton can push on for Europe. Liverpool need to regroup and address the growing issues.
4 in 5 for Welbeck, as John says. 13 for the season. He had to wait a little bit for his second to be confirmed after a VAR check, and that slightly frustrated him.
So annoying, honestly. I've got a bit of PTSD because when we played against Fulham and I scored a goal and I celebrated wildly, and I think I was offside by an elbow or something like that, which was a little bit mad. But it's difficult because you want to celebrate, but you don't know if you're offside, so you have to wait for the VAR, and then once you get the decision it's a goal, then you can celebrate. But it takes a long time and it takes the joy out of it as well.
You're being talked about now, World Cup, Danny Welbeck.
Well, for me, control what I can control. It's really nice that my name's being mentioned with that. That's a positive for me, and I don't like to give energy to things that I can't control, and so for me, I'm just happy. I'm enjoying my football and focus on what I can control.
You're remarkable in what you're doing this season, but also you've got this remarkable man in midfield who goes on and on and on, playing against his old team today.
Who, Benjamin Button? Yeah, Millie's incredible. I'm 35, but he's 40 and he is pushing every single day. It's not normal to see it. I think you only see it on the match day, but if you've seen what he was doing throughout the week and the stuff that he does, not just for on the pitch but off the pitch as well, for every single person, he's pushing the standards every single day. I really hope that this isn't his last season, because he's still got plenty more left in the tank.
So a win for Chelsea or a draw for Chelsea at Everton at 5:30, and Liverpool will drop down to 6th. Here's Arne Slot.
I think they deserved, especially if you look at the second half, to beat us. The margins are very small, as we've experienced a lot of times this season, because their goal was only 2 or 3 4 millimeters not offside. But yeah, that's the Premier League, and like I said, they deserved that goal more than us in the second half.
Is there anything else you could have done? You rotated players, you moved them around, you seemed to do as much as you could do. Was there anything more?
No, I don't think I rotated players, because there's not a lot to rotate.
I meant actually positionally on the pitch.
Oh yeah, we had to change something, because when Hugo was out and Mo Salah was not available and Alexander Isak is not available, then you have to play a player in a position where he's not used to, which we've had to do so many times this season, usually at the right fullback position. So yeah, that has been our season, and one of the reasons why we are struggling, but we're still in it.
Wayne Rooney on Match of the Day tonight joins us now. Evening.
Hi, chappers. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Start with Danny Welbeck then, because I know you're going to have a look at him tonight. I mean, he's sort of, at the moment, he is a complete striker, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and I think over the last couple of seasons he's been playing really well, and probably gone a bit under the radar, I think. But this season, I think with the lack of English strikers, he's been a talking point, and very unfortunate not to get the call up. I think it was probably between him and Calvert-Lewin, so yeah, he's just missed out, but he's having a fantastic season.
He's still an option for you though, is he?
Yeah, of course. You know, he does a bit of everything. He scores goals, he works really hard, he links the play really well, so he's certainly an option for England. Whether or not that comes in the summer, we'll wait and see.
As far as Liverpool are concerned, I don't know what the best word to describe them is, really. Confused?
Yeah, I thought today they just couldn't get to the ball, and when they were actually trying to press, but they were always late. They were in between positions, and it was a really sloppy performance from Liverpool today, and a worrying performance, if I'm being honest.
When you say they were in between positions, do you think that's partly because of the number of times positional changes were made during that game? I mean, they had 3 different right backs in the second half alone.
Yeah, no, it looked like the tactics was to force Brighton out wide, and once it went out wide, they just didn't have the legs to get there, and they couldn't get to the ball, he couldn't close it down, he couldn't leave a tackle on any of the Brighton players, and Brighton really hurt them with that. They switched to play quick and got crossed into the box, and obviously got the 2 goals from it. So yeah, I think obviously on the back of the Champions League game, they looked a bit fatigued, and I think that showed throughout the game.
All right, thank you very much, Wayne and Alan Shearer. Match of the Day, 10:30 tonight on BBC One at Craven Cottage. We got there in the end, Ian Dennis.
Yes, Fulham recording their first league double over Burnley in 75 years as they came from behind to keep alive their hopes of European qualification. Burnley took the lead after an hour, a fine first-time finish from Fleming, but that sparked Fulham into life. And after going 6 hours and 43 minutes without a goal, they scored 2 in 6 minutes. Josh King stabbing in his first Premier League goal to equalise at the second attempt. And then Harry Wilson cut inside to score a splendid second. Burnley battled away. Laurent went extremely close, but he was actually then sent off in stoppage time for a foul on Jimenez, who scored the resulting penalty to extend his 100% perfect Premier League record from the spot just after a week after the sad loss of his father.
Thank you, Ian. Michael Brown alongside Ian today. They needed that, did the home side, didn't they? You could sense the unrest at half-time, and yet now, 45 minutes later or an hour later, however you want to call it, they're actually above Brighton and in 8th.
Everyone was panicking and worrying. The sun was shining. It was always going to be a good day here at the Cottage for Fulham. The fans were a little bit agitated as well, like you said, chappers. And then it was just a matter of, right, let's go for it now. Let's just sort of go, right, we're going to take a bit more of a risk. And then it was obviously Josh King getting into areas, but Wilson had flashes, and they just didn't seem to have that tempo. And Burnley obviously tried to be as stubborn as they can. They got the goal, and then once they took risk, you knew there was quality, you knew they could counter-attack as Burnley opened the game up. And obviously from there on, Wilson found that gap, and he's got such quality. He's been a real leader for them, hasn't he? And then obviously the penalty decision, the drama at the end, and then obviously a position you asked me before, what does he need to do, Marco Silva? Where does the team need to be? The owner must have been a little bit concerned when he's seen it at one point there, just sat watching on. But yeah, a great ending. I think they're in a really super position for the money and what's spent with the structure at the football club. I think he's doing a great job, and now it's about time to try and make the decision, take a bit more convincing, give him more players, and you never know, we could see him. There's also Wilson as well. What's next for him?
Yeah, because he's out of contract, isn't he, this summer as well. Michael, Ian, thank you very much. I won't give you the full Premier League table because there have only been those 2 games. But in the race for Champions League places, if you take into account Manchester United playing last night, United are in third. They have 55 from 31. Villa have 51 from 30. Liverpool 49 from 31. Chelsea 48 from 30. And then Brentford 45 from 30, Fulham 44 from 31 and Brighton 43 from 31. I'll round the top half off because Everton are in action at 5:30. They have 43 from 30. That defeat for Burnley doesn't help their survival hopes at all. They have 20 from 31 games. They're 9 points from safety, having played a game more. In the Championship today, 3 games at lunchtime. Blackburn 0, Middlesbrough 0, Derby 1, Birmingham 0 and Ipswich 1, Millwall 1. And then at 3 o'clock, Bristol City 0, West Brom 1, Charlton 0, Norwich 1, Hull 3, Sheffield Wednesday 1, QPR 6, Portsmouth 1, Sheffield United 1, Wrexham 2, Southampton 2, Oxford 0, Watford 0, Leicester 0. Swansea against Coventry has just got underway. We'll go there shortly. Let me give you the table. Coventry have 77 from their 38 games. Middlesbrough 71 from 39. Ipswich 69 from 38. Millwall 69 from 39. Hull 66 from 39. Southampton and Wrexham both have 63 from 39. Southampton have the final playoff spot because their goal difference is 6 better than Wrexham's, and Derby have 60 from 39. Sheffield Wednesday relegated. Oxford now next to bottom after their defeat at Southampton. They have 39 points from 39 games. That's exactly the same record that Leicester have, 39 from 39. And then Portsmouth 40 from 38 after their thrashing at QPR. West Brom and Blackburn both have 43 from 39. Let's go heading towards the top of the table. Middlesbrough being held to a goalless draw at Blackburn. 3rd league game without a win for Kim Hellberg.
We wanted to win, and we are of course disappointed that we didn't win. But it's still that's important in the last 5 minutes to not go away and then go from here with 0 points. That is important. That point is important. Again, there's no easy games in this league. It certainly isn't, and especially away from home. So for us, that point means we're in the same position that we were when we traveled here, which means that with 7 to go, if that keeps going, we're in a good position. So it will be important to keep getting the points. Yeah.
Millwall got a 1-1 draw at Ipswich. Ipswich stay 3rd. Millwall stay 4th. 2 points off Middlesbrough. Here's Millwall's boss, Alex Neil.
I thought they were better in this first half. They moved the ball really well and they're a good side, so we needed to earn the right to make sure we were going to get anything from the game. I think obviously we tinkered with a couple of little bits and it wasn't really personnel led. You know, although Mika comes on, we completely changed the press, so it wasn't a case of Mika comes on, Maka comes off and we get better. That wasn't the case at all. We went 1 for 1 all over the pitch, and then at that point, like I say, we're either going to do it really well and we might get something, or it's going to be a long afternoon. So thankfully for me, the players, I thought, produced a really good, strong performance second half, and I thought we deserved a point in the end.
Yeah, I was going to mention the half-time change, bringing Ivanovic on. So you didn't play 2 up front, because most teams in this division don't play 2 up front, so their centre-halves had another problem to deal with.
Yeah, I think we've went to that quite a few times. I think doing it here, I'm not sure you can sustain that for 90 minutes without the middle of the pitch becoming a little bit loose. That's why I didn't start that way. But we worked on it yesterday, hence the reason why when we did it second half, it was quite seamless. It wasn't something new to us. We'd already done the background work on it over the last couple of days, but it was always my intention, if we weren't winning, we needed to really go after the game and try and get something.
Let's find out how the leaders have begun at Swansea then. Just a couple of minutes in. Owain Gwyneth.
Yeah, still 0-0 here at the moment. Swansea pressing for the first goal. Championship leaders arrive in South Wales looking to extend their advantage at the top to 9 points after we mentioned Borough and Ipswich dropping points earlier. The Sky Blues look to get back to winning ways. 6-game winning run coming to an end to Southampton last week. Similarly, a 1-0 defeat to Swansea. Swansea lost at Wrexham in the Welsh derby. They're now 11 points off the top 6. League top scorer Potnick starts for Swansea as Coventry Haji Wright is out injured. Matt Grimes, former Swansea captains the Sky Blues.
Thank you. 9 wins and 3 draws in the last 12 now for Southampton after they beat Oxford. They're in some form, Will Perry.
Yeah, and Shea Charles might have scored the championship goal of the season, a 30-yard top corner worldie to seal the points in that 2-0 win this afternoon. And hats off to Tonda Eckert, a former assistant manager at Barnsley, in charge of Southampton's under-21s in November when Will Still got the sack. He got the gig on an interim basis, got it permanently in December. But at that stage, you would have been ridiculed if you'd mentioned promotion around these parts. And they are now one of the informed teams in the championship. And the 33-year-old German has taken Southampton from a place above the relegation zone to a playoff spot. 7 games still to go. They still face Wrexham, Derby and Ipswich, some of the teams around them at the top of the table in the run-in. And of course a quarter-final to come against Arsenal as well in the FA Cup. There are big smiles back on the faces of the St Mary's natives.
Thank you, Will. Let's find out how West Brom ease their relegation worries a little bit this afternoon at Ashton Gate. Mark Webber.
Bristol City 0, West Brom 1 now. Standing manager James Morrison led his players over to an ecstatic away end at full time. And both the fan and player sentiment from there suggesting to me that now they think they're safe from relegation. Their first away league win in 17 games came from a header by George Campbell. 27 minutes in, Callum Stiles providing the corner. Bristol City booed 3 times by their own fans during the game, finally threatened in the last quarter of the match, but West Brom held that off, and I think that would have been the most pleasing thing for the fans that were watching as they boinged their way, the Baggies, in the away end for a while at the full time. Bristol City 0, West Bromwich Albion 1.
Look at the Scottish Premiership title race very shortly, but let's go to Craven Cottage. One of Fulham's goal scorers live on Sports Report with Gary Flintoff.
He is indeed. Josh King, thank you for joining us live on Sports Report. I know it's about the team first and foremost, but we cannot get away from the fact that this is your first Premier League goal. So, firstly on that, how did it feel?
The feeling is incredible. I think with everything which happened earlier in the season, with the Chelsea goal and it being chalked off for me,
and what a goal that was, by the way.
Thank you, I appreciate that. It's just it's an incredible moment for me and my family. I got to give gratitude to God first and foremost, and then to everyone who's believed in me, and the manager stuck with me and really helped me develop, and there's a lot of other coaches who have helped me along the way, and it's just a really nice moment for me and hopefully something I can build on.
With the Chelsea thing in mind, though, was there just a little nagging voice in the back of your mind thinking, am I onside here?
There probably was a little bit of a voice in the back of my head which said, stay cool before I can celebrate. And to be honest, I didn't even know how to celebrate in a way, but no, it was an incredible moment for me, and almost indescribable, really.
And in terms of the performance from the team, clearly went a goal behind but showed great character to come back and win comfortably at the end, and you're right in this in terms of a race for European football next season, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, we showed really good resilience today, and I think it's a credit to the sort of character we have as a team. The last 3 games have been a bit difficult for us. We haven't scored, and so sort of getting that goal to equalise was a bit vital, and then obviously H getting the goal, and then Raul and top players, and we sort of just ran away with it a little bit, but obviously it's a big thing for us, and hopefully that will help us push on and hopefully push for European spots.
What would that mean to get European football?
It's a dream. I think for all the fans, I've been a Fulham fan and at Fulham since I was 5-6 years old, and for me, like, I don't remember watching it, but I remember hearing about when we used to be back in Europe back in the day and stuff, so it would be incredible for us and the fans, and hopefully we can achieve it.
Well done today. Great to see your smiling face on Sports Report, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Josh King live with Gary Flintoff on Sports Report. In the Scottish Premiership today, Falkirk 1, St Mirren 2, Hearts 1, Dundee 0, Kilmarnock 2, Livingston 0. So that now means the gap between those two at the bottom is 12 points. Livingston have 15, Kilmarnock and St Mirren both have 27, and Motherwell 0, Hibs 0. But let's go to Tynecastle, because that win for Hearts means they are back and 5 points clear at the top of the table for now. Ailey Barber.
For the 196th night of this incredible Scottish Premiership season, Hearts are top of the table. The pressure right on the chasers once again. It was a frustrating watch at times, but eventually Oisin McEntee found the breakthrough, heading in a Mark Leonard free kick. Frankie Kent was sent off late, a second bookable offence. It didn't impact the score, but with Craig Halkett injured in the warm-up for Hearts, it potentially leaves them a little light at centre-back, should Halkett be out for a few weeks. But huge positives for Hearts in the return of Cammy Devlin, who was his usual industrious self in midfield, and Lawrence Shankland, whose introduction lifted the whole stadium and just made Hearts look instantly more dangerous. So they've got the job done. They can now sit back and watch as the pressure shifts to Rangers and to Celtic. It finished at Tynecastle, Hearts 1, Dundee 0.
Yep, Rangers first up. They play Aberdeen. 5:45 kick-off. Win this, they go within 3 of Hearts. Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, in terms of staying in the thick of the title race, a win is imperative for Rangers. Just one change to the host starting 11, with Tello Asgard replacing Jede Gassama. Aberdeen are 9th, just 3 points ahead of the relegation playoff position under the guidance of new manager Stephen Robinson for just the second match. Graham Shinney, the normal captain, is on the bench, so Kevin Nisbet is skipper. The Pittodrie side haven't scored a goal in their last 8 away games. Will that change at Ibrox this evening?
Let's tidy up the other scores in Scotland. In the Championship, Arbroath 1, Queen's Park 0, Ayr 0, Morton 1, Wraith 3, Airdrieonians 1, Ross County 2, Dunfermline 2. St Johnstone still lead at the top of the table. They're 8 points clear of Partick Thistle. The two of them actually played last night and it ended goalless. In League 1, Alloa 1, Inverness 1, Cove Rangers 2, Hamilton 2, Peterhead 1, Montrose 1, Queen of the South 2, East Fife 2, Stenhousemuir 2, Kelty Hearts 0. Inverness have a 1 point lead over Stenhousemuir at the top of the table. And in Scottish League 2 today, Clyde 2, Stranraer 1, Dumbarton 2, Annan 1, East Kilbride 3, Stirling 2, Edinburgh City 0, Elgin 3, Forfar 1, Spartans 1. East Kilbride go to the top of the table. They've gone above Spartans. They have a 1 point lead over them. Let's go back into England and into League 1. Where earlier it finished Cardiff 0, Blackpool 0, Luton 1, Stockport 1. Then at 3 o'clock, AFC Wimbledon 1, Peterborough 1. Barnsley beaten at home 1-0 by Doncaster. Burton beat Bradford 2-1. Finished Leyton Orient 2, Wickham 0. Lincoln 3, Rotherham 0. Mansfield 4, Northampton 1. Plymouth 3, Huddersfield 1. Bottom of the table, Port Vale beat third place Bolton 1-0. Stevenage 1, Reading 0. And Wigan's good form under Gary Caldwell continues. He saw his new side beat his former side, Exeter, by 2-0. Let's get details of the leaders' win over Rotherham at Lincoln. Sam Ashew.
Yeah, do you know what, Mark? There was a moment at 3-0 where Rotherham broke away on the counter-attack, and honestly, there must have been 8 Lincoln players sprinting back and swarming the ball. It sums this side up. So fit, so strong, and far too good for everyone else. Rico Hackett was man of the match, a goal and 2 assists for him. And it was another sellout at Sincil Bank today. 10,000 here, and the place was absolutely rocking from start to finish. Lincoln now 22 games unbeaten. That's a club record, and only a matter of time before they secure promotion to the second division for the first time since 1952.
They have 84 points. Cardiff have 77. Then come Bolton with 66. Bradford with 65. Stockport have 60. They have 2 games in hand on those sides above them. Stevenage have 1 game in hand on the top 4. They also have 60 points. The bottom 4 in League 1. Port Vale, despite that win over Bolton, they're still bottom. They have 31, but they have a lot of games in hand. 3 in hand on some teams. Northampton have 35, Rotherham 36, Blackpool have 42. In League 2, earlier, Cambridge 1, Salford 0. MK Dons' long unbeaten run of 14 came to an end as they were beaten 3-1 at home by Barnet. Accrington 0, Chesterfield 1, Bromley 1, Colchester 0, Fleetwood 1, Crawley 0, Gillingham 1, Bristol Rovers 2, Grimsby 5, Barrow 0, Notts County 5, Cheltenham 2, Oldham 1, Harrogate 0, Shrewsbury 0, Crewe 4, Tranmere 0, Swindon 1, and Walsall 2, Newport 1. Bromley are top, they have 79. MK Dons 74, Cambridge 72. Then in the playoffs, Notts County with 70, Swindon with 69, Salford have 67, Grimsby have 62, Chesterfield also have 62, but they're not in the playoff spots on goal difference. Barrow and Harrogate remain the bottom two, Barrow with 29 and Harrogate with 30. In the National League, Woking 3, Aldershot 2, Altrincham 1, Southend 0, Boreham Wood 3, Gateshead 0, Braintree 2, Scunthorpe 3, Carlisle 6, Boston United 2, Forest Green Rovers 2, Wealdstone 0, Hartlepool 1, Eastleigh 0, Rochdale 3, Tamworth 2, Sutton 0, Truro 3, Yeovil 3, Morecambe 2, and York thrashed Brackley 4-0. Rochdale have 94, York have 92. They both have 7 games left to play for that one automatic promotion spot to the Football League. Arsenal 5, West Ham 0 in the Women's Super League. London City Lionesses 1, Chelsea 1. Manchester City 5, Tottenham 2, and Manchester United 2. Everton 1. The Chelsea players are huddling, so just time to get in the rugby union. James Burridge at Northampton.
Where they won just 28-27, Mark. Northampton very poor by their standards. No cohesion, their attack misfired, and they thought they were clear when Litchfield scored in the 77th minute, but Newcastle came straight back to score under the post through Christian. So a nerve-wracking final minute, and Northampton held on. They go top, and they've won here 28 points to 27.
Gloucester and Exeter also won in the Prem. In the Women's Premiership, Exeter thrashed Leicester 43-0. Lions, Benetton and Sharks all won in the United Rugby Championship. Warrington thrashed Castleford 72-6 in Super League. And in the Northern Irish Premiership, Dungannon 0, Bangor 1, Glentoran 1, Coleraine 1, Portadown 0, Crusaders 0. More reaction to come at half-time of Everton against Chelsea. It's just kicked off. Pat Nevin and Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much, Mark. On the way, Everton 0, Chelsea 0. Chelsea players who did do their much talked about huddle inside the centre circle ahead of kickoff, not actually on the centre spot itself. The toffee lady, the girl who has the basket of sweets that stands inside the centre circle of the game, she was quick to get out of there when she saw the huddle coming. Everton is set off here on the first attack of the game. McNeil into the penalty area, plays a poor pass towards Beto. Beto, who's done well to keep it in play, but can't get a shot in at goal from that tight angle. How Everton would like an early fast start here. Myself and Pat Nevin were at their game this time last week when they were beaten at Arsenal. We both felt that Everton played quite well in that game. Pat, can they make an impact here at home today against Chelsea? We'll come to Pat in just a moment. Idrissa Gueye has possession for Everton, who are wearing blue shirts, white shorts, blue socks, play from right to left as we look down here from our position high up at the back of the stands at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, as Mikolenko plays a pass to Iliman Ndiaye, who slips as the ball comes to him, and the ball goes out of play, and that is a throw into Chelsea. So the Everton team, Jordan Pickford in goal, back four of Jake O'Brien, James Tarkowski, Michael Keane and Vitaly Mikolenko. In midfield, James Garner, who's got his first England call-up this week. He's back in midfield, having deputised at right back last weekend, alongside Idrissa Gueye. And then Dwight McNeil and Iliman Ndiaye, either side of the former Chelsea player, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, who is in support of Beto in attack. The Chelsea team, 3 changes from the Champions League in midweek as Romeo Lavia has been put under pressure here and nudges it back to the goalkeeper. Robert Sanchez, the keeper. The back four is Malo Gusto, Wesley Fofana, Jorel Hato and Marc Cucurella. In midfield, Lavia alongside Caicedo, and then it's Neto, Palmer and Enzo Fernandez, and leading the attack is João Pedro. Chelsea, who've lost their last 3 games in a row in all competitions. It's the first time that's happened this season. They've only had 1 win in their last 5 Premier League games, but a victory here for Liam Rosenior's team can send Chelsea back up into the Premier League's top 4 today. And Everton have got a chance to move up the table themselves. There's a clash of heads here. It's just going to bring us a little bit of a delay. Everton 0, Chelsea 0. Pat Nevin can hear us. I was just saying earlier, we were at the game at Arsenal last weekend, where we both felt Everton played quite well in that game, and they'll feel if they can play to that standard, they'll have every chance of beating Chelsea today.
Yeah, I'd go a little bit further than quite well. I thought they played very well. The match went exactly as the way David Moyes expected it to. They defended, yes, but they broke so well, and until they really went for it late on in the game, they looked least likely to get a point out of it, maybe a little bit more. So good bit of confidence about Everton, but as we know, they've been a little bit better on the road than they've been here at the Hill Dickinson.
Yes, Everton still very much in the hunt for a European place, almost a decade since they last qualified for Europe. But a win here would move David Moyes' team ahead of Brighton, ahead of Fulham, both of whom won today, ahead of Brentford as well, and they could be up tucked into the table just behind Chelsea this evening, in 7th position Everton, if they can win this game here today. No shortage of atmosphere. It is loud inside this Hill Dickinson Stadium as James Garner rolls the ball back to Michael Keane, and Keane to his right-hand side to James Tarkowski, who had played every minute in the Premier League this season until he missed the trip to Arsenal last week, and Everton fans very pleased to see him back in the team today. 4 minutes played. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. We're on the World Service as well, and on BBC Sounds, as a long ball forward for Everton carries all the way through to Robert Sanchez in goal for Chelsea.
It just looks a lot bit better balanced for Chelsea. I was at the PSG game the other night. Wait a moment.
They've given it away on the edge of the area. Dewsbury Hall into the box, can't get the shot away. And he's helped out inside the penalty area by James Garner. That's another chance for Everton. Chelsea have repeatedly given the ball away inside their own half in the opening minutes of this game. Garner just outside the box plays a low pass to Idrissa Gueye. Back again to James Garner. Chelsea have got settled now. They've got a full complement of players back behind the ball. And Mikalenko tries to flick it into Iliman Ndiaye. Back out to Mikalenko, level with the edge of the penalty area that Everton attack. Gives it back to Ndiaye. Low cross into the centre. Has been cut out in there by Moise Caicedo. And then this is João Pedro back helping out the defence, and with the assistance of Gusto, it's rolled calmly back to the goalkeeper. But Chelsea looking unsettled in this opening 5 minutes on Merseyside.
A little bit weird though, because I was halfway through saying, look, the set-up of the team is more comfortable for the players. During the week there against PSG, they went for a back three. It really didn't work from the first moment on. And considering the personnel, it was no surprise it didn't work. However, they've got Gusto at full-back now, one side, Cucurella the other side. So it's something that players should feel much more comfortable in. But as I said that, they gave the ball away and almost gave a goal away.
Today, the first time that Liam Rosenior has come up against David Moyes in his managerial career. Moise Caicedo inside the centre circle for Chelsea. We've got Moyes and Moise here today. As under pressure, Fofana from Beto has to turn around and roll it back again to the goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez. Sanchez wearing bright, luminous orange away to our left-hand side. Here come Chelsea, who have yet to have a proper attack in the game. Moise Caicedo gives a pass out to Pedro Neto on the left wing. Jake O'Brien at right back for Everton is covering. This is Caicedo, back centrally again. Has a chance to shoot from miles out, but that was always, from the moment it left his boot, careering well wide of the target. Everton 0, Chelsea 0.
It's quite a common thing when you see someone who is naturally a centre-back. I think we probably agree that Jake O'Brien, if he had a choice, he would play centre-back. But, you know, he's one of those very few tall centre-backs. You put him at right back, and he kind of looks slightly like a fish out of water, but he isn't. He does the job very well, but he's got a real job on against him, against Pedro Neto. Small, fast, everything you think Jake O'Brien wouldn't like. But so far, I've very rarely seen him torn apart in that position.
Yeah, agreed. He's certainly built like a central defender. He's big, tall and burly, but he's nimble as well. Jake O'Brien today making his 50th appearance in the Premier League. Header won by Michael Keane on the halfway line. Goes straight to Wesley Fofana. Returns it to Michael Keane. Chested down by Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Everton with possession inside their opponent's half. Interesting stat this season, you know, the home games here, Everton have not been able to win as many points as they have on their travels. And often away from home they do well as a counter-attacking team. When they are laying down the agenda, when they are capped in their opposition half, that's when the goals don't seem to flow for David Moyes. As Pickford here comes out of his penalty area, rolls the ball to Tarkowski, and he has to look up before pumping it long towards Beto. Fofana jumps in ahead of him and wins the header for Chelsea. Idrissa Gueye gets it back for Everton, and his first touch falls for Mikalenko at left back, who'll come over the halfway line. Plays a loose pass, intercepted by Malo Gusto. Chelsea regain possession back in their final third once again. Earlier on today, Brighton beating Liverpool by 2-1, 2 goals from Danny Welbeck, and Fulham winning 3-1 against Burnley. All the goals there came in the second half. Palmer for Chelsea up towards Enzo Fernandez, who has sent one of those passes to a ghost where he's played a very good ball if someone was running on the right wing for Chelsea, but there was no one there.
Well, the assistant referee was in a great position there down the line there. There was absolutely nowhere, no one else within about 40 yards. Well, it was quite intriguing there. Cole Palmer went into the kind of 10, slightly deeper than 10 position there, and immediately looked more comfortable. But he spends so much of his time out wide for Chelsea at the moment, you know, and I'm not sure if it's his best position. You know, a little bit more of a free position, but Enzo Fernandez is the one that's given that most of the time for Chelsea at the moment. But what a big day it is for both sides. I mean, with Chelsea, obviously watching Liverpool suffer, and then also on top of that, Manchester United only getting a point last night. Those Champions League places are up for grabs.
Right, Chelsea get a corner, somewhat needlessly put out by Wesley Fofana, so that brings a big roar for the crowd. It's a lovely evening here. It's been a sparkling day on Merseyside. A little narrow slither of sunshine visible, illuminating the inside of the roof of the stand on the far side to us.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful, and the stadium's beautiful. The Everton fans won't care, because what they should know is, I think they've got quite an advantage from corner kicks and free kicks here. I think the physicality they've got, 3 big centre-back type players, and then add Beto on top of that. Not sure Chelsea are great in that area here.
Garner's going to take the corner. Njai is offering himself as a short option. Surely Everton get it in the mixer here. Here it comes from Garner. Header one of the front post. Comes out as far as Mikolenko. And then the whistle is blown because of a push on a Chelsea player inside the 6-yard box. It was very crowded in there. Moise Caicedo slowly get back to his feet. Push spotted by the referee today, who is Sam Barrett, and that is a free kick to Chelsea. Still 0-0 here. Pat Nevin.
Well, when you look at that, I was mentioning the fact that the lack of physicality, what you need in the Premier League that for Chelsea. Oh,
Sanchez has been tackled by Beto. Everton so close to scoring, and Hato's going to get rid of here. What was Sanchez doing? Beto fouls Hato inside the penalty area as the youngster was trying to clear away. So what's happened there is Sanchez, as he sometimes tends to do, Pat, he dilly-dallies, he dithers, he doesn't just clear the ball away. Beto, well aware of that, came thundering in to tackle him, did win the ball, and only for the defender being behind, Everton would surely have scored.
It's the weirdest thing. Sanchez doesn't look comfortable. His first touch is absolutely awful, but it was better than the second touch, which was dreadful. And he almost, well, he did get caught there, and he's staggeringly lucky, Sanchez, to get away with that one. He just didn't seem to understand that there was danger there, even though there was a blue shirt bearing down on him.
Liam Senior, who has been rotating goalkeepers lately, but due to injuries at the moment, and Philip Jorgensen not expected back until next month. Robert Sanchez keeping his place in the team as Malo Gusto lumps it forward. And that ball goes out of play for a throw into Everton left full back position for them. I mentioned the nice weather around here, but it's still a little cool in the shade, emphasised by David Moyes. And despite the clear blue skies overhead, has a very, very noticeably raincoat on down there, which covers a large portion of his body as Beto battles for possession, and then Dwight McNeil sends it in front of Dewsbury Hall. Beto shouting for the cross to come. Here it comes, too close to the goalkeeper, easily dealt with by Robert Sanchez. But these are bright moments for Everton in the opening 12 minutes of the game, still 0-0.
Well, you've said they did well last week when we watched against Arsenal, which would have bolstered their confidence. They've led on exactly the same way, haven't they? There's a real belief about the team, but they're snapping into the tackles much quicker than Chelsea. But of course, remember, a lot of these Chelsea games they played during the week. Everton didn't. That could make a difference.
Here is Caicedo bang on the halfway line. Chelsea wearing the white shirts, dark green shorts, white socks. They have it with João Pedro, who's not seen much of the ball lately, but he's been in the goals lately. 8 goals in his last 9 Premier League games for the Brazilian. Pedro Neto in possession of the left wing here, gives it short back to Moise Caicedo, and then Enzo Fernandez back into the midfield again. Lavia to the near touchline to Malo Gusto, one of 3 changes in Liam Rosenior's team today. Rosenior, who's wearing a tight-fitting, dark, I think, hoodie jacket down there in the very small technical area at this Hill Dickinson Stadium. And speaking of sartorial choices today, I have to commend Pat Nevin, who has come fully suited, booted, shirt tied, the whole lot here for this 5 Live commentary today. I mean, this is how it should be, Pat, on the BBC.
Yes, I like to do these things for the BBC. Nothing got to do with what I was doing before. I came on air.
Can smell the prawn sandwiches off Pat Neville when he came up. Oh, Chelsea have given it away in defence again. Can Everton capitalise this time? Iliman Njai on the left-hand side, steps into the penalty area. Malo Gusto just shadowing in front of him. Njai gives it back to James Garner here. Chelsea finding it very difficult to hold on to possession in around their own penalty area. High cross comes hanging in. Cucurella does well against McNeil. Neto's got work to do here against Jake O'Brien as the ball goes out. And that's going to be a throw into Chelsea. Left full-back position for them. Still scoreless.
Yeah, fine start by Everton. They've really looked up for it. And they know what they're doing. I mean, they absolutely don't change anything at all. Personnel now and again. I mean, Garner's coming in that midfield there, but he's not going to be lacking in tackling. Sanchez decided not to hold on to the ball this time when it was played back to him, which I think was probably a good idea, but Everton will be very lifted by this, and Chelsea fans will be very concerned.
Chelsea give it away again. Hato just passed it to Dwight McNeil. Beto's cross falls here for Garner, and his shot is cleared away by Malo Gusto. What a cap that would have been on a great week already for James Garner. Big chance for Everton. Chelsea are hanging on at the moment. Garner on the edge of the penalty area to Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. Chelsea have got players back now in a defensive position, so Garner's going to roll it back to Michael Keane, and Chelsea's defence is slow to step out here, knowing that Everton are going to come at them again. 14 minutes played. Everton 0, Chelsea 0. 5 live on the World Service. Premier League's tea time kickoff today. Coming up later on, Leeds against Brentford is this evening's 8 p.m. kickoff. We'll bring you live coverage of the Carabao Cup final from Wembley tomorrow here on 5 Live. Mikalenko gives it back to James Garner midway inside Chelsea territory, and Idrissa Gueye back to the halfway line again and back to Michael Keane.
Yeah, and again the confidence is all over the place for Chelsea. I mean, they're giving the ball away so high up the field as well. You know, their full-backs, you know, the deep line midfielders just don't seem comfortable on the ball. They need to get a foothold in this game somehow. Some easy passing in the midfield without giving it away stupidly.
Here is Romeo Lavia. Good to see him back in the starting team for Chelsea. I mean, he's had such a terrible, torrid run of injuries, Romeo Lavia. This is only his second Premier League start to the campaign, as Cole Palmer now finds a pocket of space to run into. He's come from the halfway line to within 10 yards of the Everton penalty area. Gives it to the left-hand side to Pedro Neto, blocked by Jake O'Brien, and then it goes back off the Chelsea player. No corner. That's a goal kick to Everton. But for the first time there, Pedro Neto found himself in an attacking position with some space, and Everton need to make sure that doesn't happen too regularly.
Yeah, I think Jake O'Brien will be delighted with the outcome of it, and he just slows down, doesn't dive in there quickly. The other noticeable thing there in the build-up, you managed to see a player getting the ball exactly where I expected him. I would normally want him, Cole Palmer, in the number 10 position. A massive amount of space he got in that pocket, and he looks really comfortable going forward. But I don't know about you, Colin, I expected him to have a pop, and he didn't. I just wonder about the levels of confidence that Cole Palmer's got at the moment in comparison to what he's had in the past.
There is a strong record of Cole Palmer scoring in games against Everton. 5 goals in 6 Premier League appearances against them in the past. He's not scored more against any other team, Cole Palmer. And you'd imagine that he would like to catch the headlines again here today, as Idrissa Gueye gives it to Njai. Everton certainly seeing a lot more of the ball, and definitely seeing a lot more territory in these opening stages. Mikalenko's ball in. Njai's first touch just a little bit heavy. It was a tricky one, and Fofana's able to sweep it away from him. Chelsea still with work to do here to clear their lines, but a ball juggling from Fofana, but he can't get any distance as he puts it out for a throw, and Everton very much remain on the attack. Chelsea's defence has not settled at all. I think all 4 of them have made errors now.
Well, you say it hasn't settled, but how often do they play together? If you think about it, the amount of changes that they have in that back line, and you've got Hato playing alongside Fofana there, and you know, it's just not common for them to have the 2 centre-backs together at the same time week after week.
Absolutely. Everton prepared to take the throw in here. Mikalenko. We've played 17 minutes here, and also a big game taking place in the Championship this tea time. There's a penalty of Swansea. Here's Owen Gwynedd.
A penalty to Coventry. Brandon Thomas Asante, stuttering, run up, takes a shot to the right of the keeper, he scores. Coventry ahead, 1-0. Bango giving the penalty away, and league leaders Coventry 1-0 up here at Swansea.
Thanks very much, Owen. Here in the Premier League, 0-0. Everton against Chelsea. Everton almost continuously on the attack since kick-off here as Jake O'Brien wins a commanding header. Then Wesley Fofana does the same on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Casado gets it down on the deck for Enzo Fernandez, who plays a calming ball back to Marc Cucurella. And a few boos around the stadium as Chelsea have possession. Enzo Fernandez to João Pedro. Chelsea just calming it down here on the halfway line. A team that need to get a grip of this match that has been played in a bit too much of a bluster for them so far. Chelsea have not looked relaxed on the ball at all. This is Cucurella, left-hand side, just over the halfway line as Chelsea come forward, playing from left to right as we look down here. Hato to Wesley Fofana. 2 changes in the Chelsea defence compared to the team that started in the Champions League in midweek, with Malo Gusto and Wesley Fofana coming in place of Sarr and Chalobah. Romeo Lavia has taken the place of Andre Santos in the midfield. Chelsea lose it again. Njai tries to come forward, shows too much of it to Fofana, who just launches the ball out of play. Throw into Chelsea, far side of the pitch from us, and Jake O'Brien keen to take it quickly. 0-0.
What's intriguing about Everton being the better side by some distance so far, and they haven't even got the best player in the game yet. Njai has hardly got a kick of the ball so far. He's been unlucky. It's, you know, kind of bobbled off him a few times and been zipped into him, but I mean, that'll lift Everton a little bit, because Njai on his game can take on anyone, and he's playing against Gusto, who was injured during the week there, so he might not be 100% either.
Yeah, Malo Gusto, who's been recovering from an illness, starting to get right back. Of course, Chelsea without Reece James for the foreseeable, which is a big loss for Liam Rosenior and a big disappointment for Reece James at the World Cup, approaching so close on the horizon. But he'll hope to be back to play a pivotal role in the closing games of the campaign. Sanchez here has come way out of his penalty area to take this free kick. Long searching up over the halfway line. João Pedro jumps, wins the flick on header, but there's no one there for Chelsea as Michael Keane clears away up towards the halfway line. Athletic jump by Fofana. Ball ricochets off Kiernan Dewsbury Hall and goes out for a throw into Chelsea inside the Everton half. There was an interesting stat that I read this week, Pat, and you know, there are clearly too many stats in football, but sometimes one or two shines out. Do you know that every single game that Chelsea have played in the Premier League this season, they haven't covered as much distance, they've not run as hard as their opponents? Every single Premier League match. Does that surprise you?
Do you know what you say? It's surprising off the bat, but then when you watch Chelsea on the ball here, are they moving it quickly? Are they running it quickly? They look a little bit static when on the ball. You know, they know their positions. It's almost as if it's done in a almost robotic, methodical way, and unless it gets to Cole Palmer, which it just has.
Brilliant from Palmer, gets it back from Cucurella. Idrissa Gueye's got to be careful on the edge of the penalty area, leaning into him, but does not foul him. At least that's the on-field decision from Sam Barrett. You can hear the boos in the background, everyone's complaining. Chelsea are booing because they wanted a free kick there, and Everton fans are booing because they think that Cole Palmer was trying to deceive the referee. I don't think VAR can get involved here anyway, because if there was a challenge, I'm pretty sure it would have begun outside the penalty area.
And
there.
I've watched it again, and I honestly think Cole Palmer has went to kick the ball, and he's kind of kicked into the back of Gueye as well, so I don't think there's... I wouldn't have given that either.
Here come Everton again. Njai trying to release Dewsbury Hall. Good sliding tackle by Malo Gusto. But the loose ball falls kindly here for Mykolenko. Everton is still on the attack. Poor return pass from Dewsbury Hall. Mykolenko's going to make the most of it. Hangs in the cross. Beto gets up. Can't get there. McNeil can't control it. Enzo Fernandez just about clearing away for Chelsea. I think if you're an Everton fan, you've got to be delighted by the attitude, the mood of their team. They are so forward-thinking, and yet the frustration is, for all the attacking presence, they're not actually having shots at Sanchez's goal. Garner, clever through ball, which Mykolenko sprints after, and Malo Gusto was able to clear away for Chelsea, only as far as Michael Keane. Chelsea not retaining possession at all when they win it back, as Everton get it in an attacking location once again. We're almost midway through the first half. Iliman Njai in possession for Everton. 0-0 here on 5 Live for the BBC.
It's the directness of Everton. There's not long ball through the middle, but they get the ball, the first thing is to look up, play it quick, play it forward, which is the antithesis of the way Chelsea are playing just now. They get the ball, they slow it down, they pass it around the back line. Now that's the system, that's the way, that's what they're trying to do. It's not so much fun to watch, I think, for their supporters just now, and that's why the Everton fans are certainly enjoying it much more so far.
Earlier on today in Scotland, Hearts beat Dundee by 1-0. 7 more matches for Hearts. Could they be on the cusp of glory as Pedro Neto comes in the attack here for Chelsea, gets to within 10 yards of the byline, hooks it back for Cucurella. The delivery is too high, way over the head of João Pedro, who is the only Chelsea player who'd made his way forward there. And it's rather straightforward for Mikalenko to clear the ball away. Garner battles for it in the midfield. Last touch comes off Garner, and that is going to be a throw-in to Chelsea inside Everton territory.
The problem Chelsea had there, they got the ball with Pedro on the left-hand side. Now, he got a little bit of space there, but he took his time and made sure he got the right moment to put a safe cross in. Problem is, that gave the centre-backs plenty of time to get marked up, and that's exactly what happened.
Here comes Enzo Fernandez into the penalty area, just waited to get the shot away, and the chance completely evaporated. Why did he take so long there? He had Pedro Neto to his left. He might even have had a shot. He just seemed to freeze a little bit.
He did. I mean, maybe it's on the lines what I was saying before there. They don't take chances at the moment. They don't think, right, I'll decide myself, I'll go, I'll do the unexpected. It's done within the system, and you know, you need to think outside the box now and again to make something happen in a game of this standard.
0-0 here. They got underway in the Championship 15 minutes earlier than us at Swansea, and there's been a goal. Owen Gwynedd.
Swansea 0, Coventry 2. Matt Grimes, a former Swansea captain, with a goal. Ball pops out to the edge of the box. A lovely left-footed strike by the now Coventry captain. Nestles in the bottom right-hand corner. Swansea 0, Coventry 2.
Coventry still very much riding high at the top of the table in the second tier, and very much looking forward to a return to the Premier League for next season. Here, 24 minutes played on Merseyside, still plenty daylight in the sky. As Pedro Neto attacks for Chelsea, gets to within 10 yards of the penalty area, gives it to João Pedro. Idrissa Gueye does what he does and wins possession back for Everton, but they don't hold on to it. And Moise Caicedo here alongside Lavia, and now Enzo Fernandez, 10 yards outside the Everton penalty area. Chelsea in their change kit, playing from left to right as we look down. Pedro Neto with Jake O'Brien shadowing in front of him, plays it short to Enzo Fernandez. Low ball into the penalty area, is straight at Michael Keane, who's able to clear, and then Hato wins it, but Kiernan Dewsbury Hall trying to unsettle, trying to get it back for Everton. Bit more fight about Chelsea at the moment, but Enzo Fernandez unable to hold on to it there, and the loose ball carries through to Jordan Pickford, who's in goal for Everton away to our right-hand side.
Very much the Chelsea style, you know, try and get a hold of the ball there and suck the life out of the game a little bit, and then begin to strangle the opposition with holding the ball. The problem is, so far, Everton have not allowed them to do that too often, because they're fast on it, they're chasing down, they're closing down, they're asking questions of players that are on the ball. So, can Everton keep on doing that for the rest of the game? Not too sure. That's going to be a difficult one. So, I think what we'll both be hinting at, if you're in Everton and you're thinking, you've got to score now while you're on top.
Everton 0, Chelsea 0, 25 minutes played. This is one of 17 commentaries across 5 Live in the Sports Extra networks this weekend, covering men's and women's football, covering rugby union, rugby league. Tomorrow the first big trophy of the season will be decided. League leaders Arsenal taking on Manchester City at Wembley. It's a 4:30 kickoff. Our coverage on 5 Live from 12 noon, and you can listen to the game in full. Njai feeds McNeil on the right-hand side for Everton. Idrissa Gueye makes a burst towards the byline, pulled it back low. Too many Chelsea defenders there, and Pedro Neto might be able to spark a counter-attack here, but no easy exit ramp for him, so we'll give it back to Marc Cucurella. In turn, back to Gerald Hato, and in the end, all the way back to the goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez. Chelsea have just grown in composure a little bit, and I wonder, later on in this game, might David Moyes regret that his team, while they had that real purple patch early on, weren't able to score?
Yeah, that's just what I was suggesting a moment ago, but you know, that happens in football. Here we go, another break for Chelsea.
Here comes João Pedro. He's going to break into the penalty area. Sells it to Tarkowski and shoots, but it was Mikalenko went sliding. Tarkowski made the block. Everton now hanging on a little bit. Cucurella out to Pedro Neto on the left-hand side. He's only got João Pedro in the penalty area. There's a few other white shirts lurking on the periphery of the box. Neto is twisting and teasing, but he can't shrug off McNeil, but he is going to get a corner. Last touch off Dwight McNeil. Corner to Chelsea on the left-hand side.
You're right to suggest. You can feel it. A little bit of a change. Chelsea getting more of the ball. The fact that Everton cannot keep it up at 100 miles an hour for the entirety of a game, or indeed it would seem the entirety of a half, and Chelsea, I suppose, know that to some degree, and you can see just by the reactions of Liam Delap down there, Liam Senior down there, that he believes his team will get back into it now.
Chelsea corner, 27 minutes on the clock, 0-0, high, in-swinger towards the back post. Jake O'Brien using his height to good effect, and he'll clear the ball out of play. Chelsea remain on the attack here, throw into the visitors, 15 yards or so from the penalty, from the corner flag they attack down the right-hand side. So Malo Gusto up from right back is going to take the throw in here. Match of the day tonight is 10:30 on BBC One television, repeated early in the morning. Moise Caicedo back near the halfway line, flicks the ball infield to Gerald Hato, the teenager, and turn on to Enzo Fernandez, and now over to the left wing. Pedro Neto back in field to Enzo Fernandez once again. Dewsbury Hall against his old team comes charging in to try and challenge for possession. Moise Caicedo floats one into the penalty area. Pickford thought about coming, and Tarkowski takes no chances, heads it out for a corner. Another goal in the first half at Swansea. Owen.
Yeah, it's now Swansea 0, Coventry 3. Ball came in from the right-hand side, bobbled around inside the box, and Sakimoto's in the right place at the right time to convert the ball into the back of the net. Swansea 0, Coventry 3.
Earlier on today in the Championship, 0-0 between Blackburn and Middlesbrough. Derby beat Birmingham. It was a draw between Ipswich and Millwall. West Brom won away at Bristol City. Norwich won away at Charlton. Queen's Park Rangers were 6-1 winners against Portsmouth, and Wrexham beat Sheffield United away by 2-1. Corner comes in for Chelsea. Attempted shot by Caicedo. Attempted shot by Cucurella. Everton still haven't got it away. Better shooting now. No, he's not been able to clear. Pedro Neto shoots, and it's blocked by James Tarkowski, and still Everton can't fully clear. This is Enzo Fernandez, edge of the box, gives it to João Pedro, who tries to shoot, and it's caught high up above his head by Jordan Pickford. And I'll tell you what, Everton used up quite a few of their 9 lives there. There was a whole succession of Chelsea opportunities.
Well, the one thing you would say about Everton, they managed to go and block well, and they threw the bodies in the way, but you've got to get lucky as well. Any one of those 4 or 5 shots in about 20 seconds could have taken a deflection and gone straight in the goal. Yes, Everton got a bit lucky there.
Chelsea have really switched on now. Mind you, Pedro Neto's pass there goes astray. This is Dwight McNeil, 10 yards outside his own penalty area. Gives it back to James Tarkowski. Work to do here amid a high Chelsea press, but Everton trying to play through it. It goes off Cucurella, and that is a throw into the home side on the far side.
Well, you mentioned high Chelsea press. That's the first time you used that phrase during this game, because that's not what they've been doing. Pedro's been out there just jogging along. He didn't seem to want to spend that sort of energy. But the first time they did it there, okay, it came from a corner kick, but they kept it up. And what a difference that made to Chelsea. They looked very, very sharp there.
James Garner has possession for Everton in the middle of the midfield. Called up by Thomas Tuchel into the England squad for the match against Uruguay. First time Garner's been called up to the senior squad. I mean, his stats this season have been absolutely excellent. You add together tackles and interceptions, he's had the highest numbers for those figures combined of any player in the Premier League. And of course, he's not just a defensive midfielder, because he's also the same guy who's created the most chances for Everton this season. So you get value for your money, you get bang for your buck with James Garner at both ends of the field.
Also, if you got a problem at right back, we'll go and play there for you. We got a problem at left back, we'll go and play there for you. And the fact that he's almost a classic Davy Moyes player, isn't he? He will do everything for you and give you exactly the same sort of effort, and at every position, at every moment.
Here he is sliding in on Enzo Fernandez. I mean, that versatility might be very useful at a World Cup finals. Should Thomas Tuchel's team advance into the latter stages and players pick up injuries or suspensions, having someone who can play multiple positions. Here come Chelsea. Neto's done just enough to nudge that out to Cucurella, who then tries to return the pass, but good work by Jake O'Brien. Everton have it here. Feels like a long time since Everton have had the ball inside the Chelsea half. They completely dominated the first 20 minutes of this game, Chelsea, but Everton, but it's been all Chelsea the last 4 or 5 minutes. This is Lavia on only his second Premier League start to the campaign, giving it out to the left wing to Pedro Neto. Neto goes veering infield a little bit here, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Back to Lavia once again, back to the safety of Cucurella, who's near the centre circle. Everton just take the opportunity to slowly walk out a few paces here as Chelsea retreat back into their own half again. Wesley Fofana will give it to Jarrell Hato. That's a good ball forward, and Lavia is able to ride a couple of tackles, and he gives it out to Malo Gusto on the right hand side. Chelsea about to step into the penalty area. Attempted cross by Malo Gusto, blocked by Mikolenko. Everton should be able to clear it away, and it's half time now at the Swansea.com stadium, and here is Owen Gwynedd.
Swansea 0, Coventry 3 in an entertaining first half. We got the bag full of chances. Asante's penalty opened the scoring after Bango fouled Mason Clark. former Swans captain, old Coventry captain Matt Grimes doubled the lead with a gorgeous left-footed strike. Sakimoto made it 3. Swansea hit the woodwork twice, and Franco missed a sit of a header. Swansea 0, Coventry 3.
Thanks very much. 0-0 here between Everton and Chelsea in the Premier League. Chelsea, who beat Everton 2-0 when these sides met at Stamford Bridge. That was in mid-December. Cole Palmer and Malo Gusto scored the goals that day. Everton, who've only had one win in their last 7 Premier League meetings against Chelsea. Garner here coming over the halfway line, plays a good ball in front of Beto. Great pass, Beto finishes, and Everton have the lead. What a good goal that was. It's all about the weight of the pass from Garner, and then Beto still needed to finish over the advancing goalkeeper. He got there in front of Sanchez, and he tinked it over the Spaniard, and it's Everton 1, Chelsea 0. David Moyes' team score against the run of play.
Well, isn't that just always the way with Everton? They look so much better when they're under a little bit of pressure, and they were under a lot of pressure there, but they broke away brilliantly. And the ball from Garner, and the question mark from a lot of people on Garner was, do you have that imagination? Can you play that final through ball there? They have played it. They will check it for offside. For me, it looks as if it's onside, but Beto's definitely got the pace there, and I think questions will be asked of the goalkeeper. Should he have been out quicker? Should he have read that situation? By the time Beto gets to the ball, he's 15, 14 yards out. Most goalkeepers these days are well out on top of that.
And, you know, we're just seeing the replay of it. So, you know, Beto's running onto this lovely pass from Garner. Sanchez is running out. Now, you know the way goalkeepers have a choice. You can slide out, you can try and smother, or you try and keep big, and he very much keeps up on his feet, Sanchez, which means he's not fully committed to the contact. Beto was fully committed. The desire seemed to be there for the Everton striker more than the Chelsea goalkeeper.
Well, first of all, the goalkeeper knows that if he gets that wrong, penalty, possible sending off, everything like that is on the table. That's not the same for the centre forward, but it's a decision making before that. It's seeing where the danger is and being out and ready to take the danger in your box. And to me, I think that's, if you're going to watch Match of the Day tonight, I think that'll be the big question. Should the keeper have been out there much earlier?
Everton absolutely delighted with this on a day that they hope they are going to win back-to-back Premier League games at home for the first time since moving into their new stadium. Chelsea on the attack will go to Scottish Premiership in just a moment, but Cole Palmer is breaking down in the penalty area, sends in a low cross. Malo Gusto ends up on the deck, and the ball ends up going out for a corner. Good game here now. Everton leading Chelsea by a 0-0. Also a T-top kickoff at Ibrox. Rangers hosting Aberdeen. Here's Kenny Crawford.
20 minutes gone, corner, and it's still Rangers 0, Aberdeen 0. The best chance of the match falling to Rangers striker Yusuf Chermiti. His bullet header from James Tavernier's corner over the bar. He's chasing his 10th goal of the season. It's still Rangers 0, Aberdeen 0.
Chermiti, the former Evertonian. Corner comes in. Brilliant save by Jordan Pickford. How did he keep that out? Enzo Fernandez from 7 yards out, full on the volley, crashes the ball towards goal, and Jordan Pickford makes a really good save to put it out for a Chelsea corner.
Do you know, see in the last few weeks he has had 3 saves. They're 3 of the best saves I've just about ever seen. He's no right to get to this. He just throws his hand up. How does he move his hand so quickly? Brilliant. Here comes the corner.
Corner played in. Chelsea already chasing the game here away from home at Everton. Could this possibly be a 4th defeat in a row for Liam Rosenior? This time the penalty hasn't been worked into the penalty area. They have it on the edge of the box. Malo Gusto to Pedro Neto. Over to the left-hand side, and Enzo Fernandez. 9 minutes to go to half-time. Great ball in. Lavi and Del Pedro couldn't get a touch on the far post. That was a really good delivery, but Chelsea couldn't finish it off. Cheers from the home fans as the ball goes out for a goal kick. But that's an incredible save from Jordan Pickford.
Honestly, you'll see lots and lots of things of this weekend's football. Good goals, good through balls, lovely movement there for the work of the Everton goal. But honestly, that save, you just won't get fed up seeing that. Well, you will if you're certainly a Chelsea supporter, but Everton fans, I've seen it many, many times for Pickford, but that is magnificent. and he celebrates it. You can feel his cheesy grin from up here.
Yeah, if we get a break in play, we'll try to sort of graphically describe that a little bit better. But here, Idrissa Gueye has lost possession in the midfield, and Enzo Fernandez has got the speed of Pedro Neto outside. Neto's going to get into the penalty area here, down the left-hand side. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall has worked really well to get back. Nutmeg on Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, but then Garner is there on the other side to whip the ball away for Everton, and out it goes for a throw into Chelsea on the far side. The clock ticks on. We've got just over 7 minutes of normal time to go until the break. Beto's goal, separating the teams. Everton 1, Chelsea 0. Malo Gusto on the attack for Chelsea, tries to cross it in, but it's blocked by Mikalenko, and out it goes for a Chelsea throw.
Yeah, I mean, they had quite a few chances now, Chelsea. I mean, 4 of them were in a 20-second little break there, but they have played well this last 10-15 minutes or so, and as you say, it's now turned into a cracker of a game. Whereas Everton, they're playing on the break, but to some degree, that suits them.
Everton with their noses in front. They played well away at Arsenal last weekend, but couldn't score and ended up conceding 2 goals to lose the game. This time round, David Moyes' team have a lead to get their teeth into here, to cling on to, and to try and upset Chelsea even further. Chelsea, who had definitely been enjoying their best spell in the game just before they conceded. And James Garner, who's been in the headlines for all the right reasons this week, he'll be overjoyed with that assist, because it really sums up the quality that he has, the weight on that pass. Any firmer at all, and it would have gone through to Sanchez, and any shorter, it would have been cut out by the defender. It was a really good pass from Garner. Fofana has possession for Chelsea on the halfway line. Hato gives it up to Caicedo. Now out to the left-hand side and to Pedro Neto, who's got Cucurella further outside him. Chelsea get to the edge of the box. João Pedro gives it away. João Pedro's with the fewest touches of the ball of any player on the pitch, and it's cleared away by Garner up towards Beto on the halfway line. Hato falls awkwardly and I think fell into Beto, who's waving his arm and complaining that he's hurt here, and the referee is obliged. Head injury, he must stop play, despite the fact that Chelsea had possession inside the Everton half.
It's a long way away from us, but as I've often said before, the amount of times you see a player getting out with a head injury but throws his arm up there and flicks his wrist about, I must admit, any head injury never made me throw my wrist around above my head. Yeah, and it's not, that's not to get attention, it's as if it's part of the heart. I have to say I'm quite surprised by that.
It is a hot topic at the moment, and of course player safety has to be paramount, and if it is a genuine head injury, of course medical attention has to come on as quickly as possible. But it has become a loophole to delay the game, as if you're down, if you hold your head and raise your hand, you know the game is going to stop, and that can be used, you know, on the wrong side of the line.
Indeed, is used, very much so.
But we'll talk about this in just a moment. Chelsea are on the attack. Everton down to 10 men because Beto, having received treatment, of course, has to leave the field of play. That's one of the things they brought in to try and speed things up. For next season, there are new ideas as to how that can be sanctioned even further. Iliman Ndiaye is going to stretch the ball here, but he loses out to Malo Gusto. Everton still have only got 10 men on the pitch. Mikalenko at left back. Launches it long over towards the right hand side. Beto's been allowed back on, not a great ball for Mikalenko, and it goes straight out of play. So next season, when you make a substitution, if the player going off isn't off the field within 10 seconds, the player coming on isn't allowed to come on for a minute. And not only is it a minute, it's cannot come on for at least a minute, and then once that minute's expired, has to still wait until the next break in play. So you're going to see players sprinting off next season when they see their number put up to say that they're coming off. Here comes Dewsbury Hall down the left-hand side, gets to the edge of the penalty area that Everton are attacking. Lavia had tracked him all the way. This is Garner now, coming to add a little bit of support. Everton seem really fresh today against opponents who had a busy old week in the Champions League. And the ball goes out of play for a throw into Everton, right up against the corner flag. They attack down the left-hand side. If you're joining our coverage here, if you're on 5 Live, if you're listening on BBC Sounds, maybe you're somewhere around the globe listening on BBC World Service, it is Everton 1, Chelsea 0, Beto with the goal that separates the team. And half-time now rapidly approaching as Mikalenko is preparing to try and launch a long throw here. He doesn't have much of a runway between the advertising hoarding and the edge of the pitch, but he'll arch his back and he'll sling it in towards Tarkowski. They put the keeper under pressure and Sanchez puts it out for a corner. Corner to Everton on the left-hand side. Pat Nevin.
They're having a few corners, and I do expect Everton to be very dangerous from corners. You need good balls in, but players like Tarkowski, who are going to Is that Tarkowski who's come over to talk to Garner there before the ball's played in? I think it is Tarkowski's come over, but they've got Tarkowski, Keane, O'Brien, very, very dangerous there. Beto, who's a tall lad as well, brimming with confidence as we speak, so it's all about the quality of the ball in.
2.5 minutes of normal time to go until the break. Everton take the corner short. Dewsbury Hall doesn't get enough elevation when he eventually does try to sling it in, and the ball is cleared away for an Everton throw midway inside Chelsea territory, so David Moyes' team remains on the attack. This is Iliman Ndiaye, tackled by Hato. Ball goes out of play for another throw in to Everton. So the pattern of this game has been Everton started really well. It was all the home side for the first 20 minutes. Then Chelsea had a good spell, a good 7 or 8 minutes where they were on top. And it was right at the end of that spell that Everton scored. Since then it's been pretty even. And this is nicely balanced now on the cusp of half-time on 5 Live. And Tarkowski has possession inside the centre circle, gives it short to Michael Keane. Keane over to the left-hand side to Mikalenko. That's a lovely manoeuvre by Ndiaye. He's completely outfoxed Hato there. Sends in a low cross. Fofana, well positioned, is able to clear away. Clever little dummy and decoy by Ndiaye there. He allowed the ball past him. Hato wasn't expecting that. It flashed by the defender too. He can be a real box of tricks, Iliman Ndiaye. Nice Everton warm applause here as they safely work it back to Jordan Pickford away to our right-hand side. Everton 1, Chelsea 0.
Problem with Hato there, he's a left-back stroke left centre-back, but he found himself in the right-back position, and I think Ndiaye knew that, and that's why he's able to turn them, because very uncomfortable turning onto his right side.
And Joel Hato, the summer signing from Ajax, who has now started more Premier League games since Liam Rosenior's arrival than he did all season before the new head coach was appointed. Tarkowski here close away for Everton. Beto jumping in the air. Cucurella goes down. Play on though, because Chelsea still have possession. Caicedo onto Enzo Fernandez midway inside Everton territory. We're into the final minute of regulation time in the first half here. Cucurella back up on his feet, will play the ball to Pedro Neto on the left hand side, crossing position. He's got 4 or 5 white shirts in the penalty area if he wants to send it in here, but Chelsea keep it on the deck. They keep it outside the penalty area. Caicedo forward to Enzo Fernandez, has a little look up, doesn't fancy anything that he's interested in clipping the ball towards. Keeps it on the deck, back out to Neto on the left-hand side. 30 seconds until we see the board for stoppages here. Everton defenders collectively all just take 1 step out between them. Just now they take another one. Chelsea still have possession inside the Everton half. Joel Hato will give it across now to Wesley Fofana. You can hear the noise of the Everton fans who are ready to celebrate going in 1-0 in front here at half-time, if they can hold on for the next couple of minutes here. Hato has possession in the Everton half. Chelsea playing from left to right as we look down in their white shirts. Enzo Fernandez back to Caicedo in the midfield. 2 minutes being added on here for the stoppages. Malo Gusto back to Fofana. A lot of Chelsea possession here, Pat, but they're not really doing anything with it, and then Idrissa Gueye makes the interception.
That's when they look at their weakest, Chelsea, because, and I only use this one word once a game, I can't help it, their transition has been very, very slow. You know, and when you get the ball again, if you get a chance to move it and change the game and take advantage of the fact that you've suddenly got possession, you should do it. Chelsea haven't done that very well. It's been very slow in labour in the build-up.
Joe Pedro back to Hato, out to the left wing to Pedro Neto. Familiar triangular patterns here from Chelsea, but it's all outside the box. Of course, there is such talent in any little switch up from an Everton player, and Chelsea have got the wherewithal to punish how they would love an equaliser just ahead of the break. This is Malo Gusto, good 20 yards outside the penalty area, back in field to Caicedo. Enzo Fernandez takes over, has to hold off Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Now he plays it direct forward, but straight to Mikalenko, who's headed down, falls for Malo Gusto, and then Idrissa Gueye gets it back for Everton, and Mikalenko at the second attempt is able to clear away. Warm applause from the Everton fans. Now Chelsea have to retreat, and Moise Caicedo sends it all the way back to Robert Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, away to our left-hand side, and we have 30 seconds of stoppages remaining, Pat.
Just a moment ago there was a round of applause that rippled around the stadium. It was Beto, absolutely no chance of getting that ball, but the willingness to chase everything down, these fans, they admire that.
Here is Enzo Fernandez, Beto in the goals already today. As Neto crosses in, good leap from Michael Keane to jump highest and to head it away from danger. Ndiaye here battling with Lavia is fouled, and that's going to be a free kick to Everton, and that should bring us to half-time. Here's another stat for you, Pat. Beto this season has yet to have more than one shot on target in any Premier League game. I mean, he's all the attributes, but the end result is he's not quite providing enough. But David Moyes keeps putting him in.
So if there's no more than one per game, you should get him off now.
No, but that's the point. It's like, have we seen all we're going to see of him today? The Everton fans hope not. There goes the whistle for the break. It's Beto's goal, really well worked, set up by James Garner. Don't discount the importance of a really important save from Jordan Pickford. Everton will feel, Pat, that collectively they've had the best of that opening 45 minutes.
Yeah, they've just about sneaked it with the fact that it started very, very well. They're well organised at the back. There was that short period, as I say, 20 seconds, when Chelsea put a lot of pressure on, a couple of corner kicks as well, and then one great opportunity which was saved fabulously by Jordan Pickford. But apart from that, in the open play, and players showing a desire to go and chase and battle and go beyond lines, well, that's been much more Everton than it has been Chelsea. And just looking at Chelsea, there just doesn't seem to be a coherent spirit about the group at the moment, whereas with Everton, well, it's definitely there, and it's there in bucketfuls.
Liverpool's defeat earlier on might have opened up a door of opportunity for Chelsea. So far, Mark Chapman, they're not taking it here. Everton would be moving up to 7th if it stays like this. For now, Everton 1, Chelsea 0.
I suppose the question I would ask them, Pat, is how can there be coherence when this starting 11 changes game by game, and it changes in particular defensively? So the second part of it is, I get the criticism of Robert Sanchez, but every time he plays, he's got a different back four in front of him. So knowing traits, what foot they prefer it on, speed, etc., there's nothing settled about it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's a certain amount of sympathy you have for Chelsea. The fact that Colville, probably the best centre-back, isn't available and hasn't been available for a while. They've had a number of injuries at various times. But they also have this other thing, whereas they buy youth all the time. Now, that's absolutely fine in various ways, but then you lack experience in central positions, particularly centre-back. Now, most centre-backs really come into the room when they're 25, 26, 27. That's what they learn the game, they understand the game, and they end up in a partner they can play beside. None of that happens with Chelsea. Absolutely none of it happens with Chelsea. So you're right, Sanchez looks ahead of him and thinks, who am I got in front of me today? And it wasn't good defending with a through ball. But I still think with Sanchez, I suspect most goalkeepers would have been flying out and ready and read the play and arrived at the ball exactly the same time, if not before Beto when he got there. So yeah, it's kind of 6.5 a dozen. It's partially the defence not being able to work together and understand each other as a duo, because they always want to do that. We've heard it so many times from so many partnerships, but also a part of it is, yeah, you've got to be fit to play.
Thank you both. Everton a goal to the good then there. 10 minutes or so to go till half-time at Ibrox. Kenny Crawford.
Where Rangers have just scored, and it's Toche Chikuane, the Danish midfielder, recently signed from Sturm Graz, has slotted it into the bottom left-hand corner from the edge of the box. It's Rangers 1, Aberdeen 0. Until then, Aberdeen had looked fairly organised, but now they're behind. Rangers 1, Aberdeen 0.
Take them within to 3 points of Hearts, who won earlier when they beat Dundee by a goal to nil. A couple of other games going on at the moment in the Championship. The second half is underway, and Coventry lead 3-0 at Swansea, so that will extend their lead at the top of the table. Half-time in the National League, Solihull Moors 0, Halifax 2. Just 2 Premier League games completed today. Brighton beat Liverpool 2-1. Fulham beat Burnley by 3-1. Leeds Brentford is to come at 8 o'clock. Story in the Championship was that Middlesbrough drew at Blackburn. Ipswich and Millwall drew 1-1 at Portman Road. The sides lower down, all chasing playoff places or trying to stay in the playoff places, they all won. Hull beat Sheffield Wednesday. Derby beat Birmingham. Southampton beat Oxford, and Wrexham won at Sheffield United. Hull and Southampton have the 2 playoff places along with Ipswich and Millwall. Lincoln extended their lead at the top of League One. They beat Rotherham 3-0. Second place Cardiff held 0-0 by Blackpool, and Bromley did the same in League Two, extended their lead. They beat Colchester, while MK Dons were beaten 3-1 at home by Barnet. As well as Hearts being in the Scottish Premiership, the other significant result was Kilmarnock beating Livingston. So Kilmarnock now have a 12-point lead over Livingston at the bottom of the table. In the Gallagher Prem, there were wins for Gloucester and Northampton and Exeter. Exeter's women also won in the Women's Premiership against Leicester. One game currently going on in the United Rugby Championship, where it's Glasgow 26, Leinster 12. Earlier in Super League, Warrington thrashed Castleford 72-6. And at half-time in the game that's going on at the moment, Catalan 14, Hull KR 6. 22 minutes past 6, and James Wickham has the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper says the UK government is supporting defensive action against Iran to support the UK national interest. She also condemned what she called Iran's reckless strikes in response to an attempted attack on the British-American base in Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. Sir Keir Starmer will next week hold an emergency meeting of senior ministers and the Governor of the Bank of England to discuss how to deal with the effects of the war on the cost of living. It comes as the BBC's Moneybox programme revealed around a fifth of the mortgage products on the UK market have been withdrawn since the conflict in the Middle East began. More than 7,000 people have so far been vaccinated in response to the meningitis B outbreak in Kent. The number of cases has risen for a fifth consecutive day and now stands at 34. 2 students have died from the infection. And the UK version of the iconic American sketch show Saturday Night Live premieres tonight on Sky. Tina Fey will launch the show with music provided by Wet Leg.
On BBC iPlayer.
The question has become more urgent. How do we sort fact from fiction? How can we believe what we see?
The hit drama returns.
That is not the shooter I saw. Why am I the only one who saw the suspect?
You think this is correction?
Yes, sir. The news footage has been deep-faked.
Do you trust her judgment? I don't trust, period. The new series of The Capture. Famously unreliable things, memories.
You can't hack a memory.
Stranger things have happened. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Let's bring you some reaction to the day's football. We'll start in the Scottish Premiership. Hearts beat Dundee 1-0 to ensure that they will stay top of the table this weekend, and they got their captain Lawrence Shankland back after 2 months out injured.
Oh, great to get back out in the pitch, obviously. The long time coming, a lot of working there in the gym, with rehab and stuff. Nice to get back out in the pitch a couple of weeks ago at training, back in with the boys this week, and then obviously that's what you do it for, to get back out there, so great to be a part of it again.
7 games left, Lawrence. You've got obviously your 5 clear at the moment. Things might happen over tonight or tomorrow. Do you believe that this is on?
Of course. I've believed for a while now, and you need to when you get to this stage in the position we're in. You would be wrong not to believe, so we do. But we just need to keep chipping away at getting wins week by week. The way we've approached the season is game by game and getting as many wins on the table as possible. A couple of week break now, obviously, in terms of fixtures, so I really use that time to get myself right and be in the best position I can getting into the Livingston game. Although sometimes it takes getting in the pitch again to find out how you really are, but that'll be a lot of hard work in the next 2 weeks, and we can look forward to the fixtures again.
6:06 to come later on. Good that they have Lawrence Shankland back, Chris Sutton, and good that they won.
Yeah, well, it's not for me to say whether it's good.
Well, it is. You want an exciting title race.
Yes,
Chris,
yes, we do.
No, you do. I mean,
yes,
I do, obviously, but you do.
That's a great point. Really good that Hearts won, and great that Lawrence Shankland is back. So I want to hear from Hearts fans, because they did have that little wobble against Kilmarnock.
But they've won today, though, haven't they?
Yes, they have won important. They bounced back, and and key that Lawrence Shankland is back, the best striker in Scotland. So I want to hear from Hearts fans. Rangers are 1 up at this moment in time. And down south, Mark, what has gone on with Liverpool? Booed off against Spurs last weekend, weren't they? I know they won in the week in the Champions League, but losing again today. And we've had Liverpool fans in previous weeks phone in, and they're not sure about Arne Slot. So I want to hear from Liverpool fans. Heard Alan Shearer, my old strike partner, earlier on 5 Live with you, Mark, talking about the standard of refereeing because of VAR, the worst we've seen. Do you agree with Alan Shearer? And what about the Premier League, Mark, being the best league in the world? Absolutely schooled by La Liga in the week, 22-9 on aggregate, with Barcelona smashing Newcastle, Real Madrid smashing Manchester City, Atletico Madrid smashing Spurs, and
Paris Saint-Germain smashed Chelsea.
Yeah, they're not La Liga though.
I know they're not. I'm just throwing that in for context.
Yeah,
the league what? The league what?
League. Yeah, I didn't pass my French at GCSE. But what about Liam Rosenior saying the players are tired? I mean, is that an acceptable excuse? PSG players, they're probably a bit tired as well. So, you know, and the Championship, you spoke about the Championship, absolutely fascinating. Borough dropping points away to Blackburn, Ipswich dropping points at home to Millwall. So who else won? Hull won, Wrexham won, Southampton won.
Derby
and at the bottom,
won.
Derby won at the bottom. It's crazy as well, isn't it? That's a massive win for West Brom at the bottom. So tight. And had Norwich just appointed Philip Clement 2 weeks earlier, they'd be in with a big playoff push as well. So let's hear from all the fans of their clubs.
Anything else? That was very comprehensive.
Yeah, well, just what about Manchester United last night? The Diallo, was it a penalty? Wasn't it a penalty? I thought it could have gone either way.
Well, you'd have been a terrible referee then.
All right, come on. Yeah, just because he's small, that was that argument. And here's one for Liverpool fans. I mean, Everton, if they hang on today against Chelsea, I mean, could Everton possibly finish above Liverpool this season in the Premier League? It could happen. And Fulham as well, they're going well, aren't they? And Burnley, you're just playing for pride. How does that feel, Burnley fans?
Okay. Were you suggesting that small players shouldn't get penalties?
I'm saying sometimes they're a little bit lightweight.
Okay. An awful lot then to talk about with Chris on 606 08 085 909 693. Let's talk Burnley next. Beaten 3-1 at Fulham. They'd actually went a goal up, and then in stoppage time they had Josh Laurent sent off for a professional foul. Here are the thoughts of Scott Parker.
I thought it was harsh, yeah. At real time, I've not seen it back. At real time, I thought it was a harsh penalty at real time, but I've not looked at it back at this present moment in time, so that was disappointing.
And looking at the table, clearly the point situation is stark. I know you'll keep going, but in terms of that mindset for you and the players, how do you approach these final few games of the season?
We don't have a choice. And sometimes one of the things I've learned in life is when you don't have choices, it's very easy. And there ain't no choice here. The choice is every Saturday for the next 7 games we've got to walk out onto a football pitch and we've got to deliver the best version of ourselves constantly, and that will be a mainstay. While of course this year at times we've fallen a little bit short for many different reasons, there's one thing this group has not fallen short again today in terms of giving absolutely everything, and that will be the mainstay here. We'll reassess of course at the end of it, but for now there's 7 games with no choice other than us trying to improve, trying to learn, trying to get better, and sticking with exactly what some of the things we have got.
Let's go to the WSL next. Bunny Shaw hit a 12-minute hat-trick in Manchester City's 5-2 win over Spurs. Her 4th successive hat-trick in home league games against Tottenham.
Firstly, we've got the win, and that's the most important. But, for me, I would just say scoring a hat-trick is always a good feeling. But overall, the team win, and it's a good day.
Not only a hat-trick, but the fastest hat-trick in WSL history. You just keep breaking records.
Yeah, you know what? For me, I'm enjoying my football, and I think that once I'm enjoying my football, the sky's the limit for me, and I just always try to do the best that I can, stay humble, and keep working hard every day in training, because I know that, when I do that, these opportunities will arrive.
Another game ticked off as well in the title race. You're getting closer and closer.
Yeah. A game at a time. We've always said that from the get-go. And that's just something that we've always done, and the next week is going to be a big one as well. So the same, rest, recover, and we go again.
They play Manchester United next week, Do City next Saturday, and you can hear full commentary of that here on 5 Live Sport. In Super League, Warrington thrashed Castleford 72-6, so it keeps up their 100% start to the season. They scored 12 tries in total, 4 of them from Kelepi Tanginoa, and he spoke afterwards to Tanya Arnold.
Have you ever scored 4 tries in a match?
No, that's the first time, man. Yeah, I think the last time I scored a try like that was probably under 6s, under 7s. But yeah, it was really special.
And a special day for Warrington. Okay, a bad day at the office for Castleford, but you guys must be buzzing at what you've done there.
Yeah, that's probably what we're building this year, is consistency in our performance. And I thought our first 20 minutes of the game is probably what we prioritise, and then sort of like the game just flowed from there. So I think we built the game really well, and then everything just come at the back of that.
We have got a run. We'd already put a run of your performances together before you got the hat-trick and then the fourth, because you were running so hard in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, has that been one of the things you've been charged with by Sam when you came here?
Yeah, 100%. I think, like I said, consistency. I felt like our first half is mostly like what we built our game on, and then second half is just trying to keep consistent in our performance in the second half. So to be able to put that score, I mean, Cass probably, you know, we sort of dealt with different situations in there, but I thought our consistency before first and second half was pretty good.
Warrington's 100% record to the season then continues. Keely Hodgson's through to tomorrow's 800 metres final at the World Indoor Athletics. Tonight, Josh Kerr goes in the 3,000 metres final. You've got the women's 60 metres as well. Dina Asher-Smith and Amy Hunt in action. Coverage on BBC Two and iPlayer. In fact, Josh Kerr has just won gold in the 3,000 metre final. So you can't watch that now, although you can catch up on it on iPlayer. And if you're going to watch it later, I apologise if I've spoilt it for you. Anyhow, the women's 60 metres does go later on. And the Brazilian leg of the MotoGP has been suspended because a large sinkhole has appeared in the start-finish straight. Half-time at Ibrox, Kenny Crawford.
Rangers 1, Aberdeen 0. Rangers on course to reducing the gap between them and Hearts. Back to 3 points. Danish midfielder Tochi Chukwueze scored the goal on 35 minutes, side-footing into the bottom left-hand corner from the edge of the box. Aberdeen haven't scored an away goal since the 21st of December. Rangers 1, Aberdeen 0.
How are Chelsea going to get themselves back into this then? Pat Nevin and Conor McNamara.
Thanks, Mark. Well, Liam Rossini's done a little bit of tinkering. He's making a change over half-time. He's taking off Malo Gusto, who was playing at right back, and he's brought on winger Alejandro Garnacho. So it looks like Moise Caicedo's going to go to right back, Garnacho will go to the left wing, and Pedro Neto will go over to the right wing as Everton immediately pump it along into the Chelsea penalty area, but Robert Sanchez is able to react and gather possession for the visitors. Everton leading by a goal to nil. Beto's goal, which came 11 minutes before half-time, a very well-worked goal. There's been a good buzz atmosphere around the stadium. Evertonians hoping that this is the day that they get to win back-to-back Premier League home games at their new home for the very first time. But Chelsea have got 45 minutes to try and turn it around. We'll give you a full rundown of the teams in just a moment, but Chelsea on the attack. Pedro Neto, right-hand side of the pitch as Chelsea come forward. They're now playing from right to left as we look down. White shirts, dark green shorts, white socks. Everton in their traditional blue and white. And this is Moise Caicedo. Everton, who do have Romeo Lavia to patrol the middle of the midfield, but I always feel when Caicedo plays at right back, he's a little bit more peripheral to the action. It'll be interesting to see how much he creeps into a central midfield role today. Pat Nevin, who played for both teams in the past alongside me. How do you see this shaping up now, Pat?
Intriguing, because as you say that, Caicedo's just moved into the central midfielder as if he's forgotten that he's supposed to be at right back. What it does do is it Garnacho's wide one side, Neto's wide the other side. But it gives actually Cole Palmer a little bit of chance to play in a 10 position, which I think suits him more, so that might help Chelsea.
This is Caicedo in possession, right-hand side of the midfield. Back to Jorel Hato. Chelsea had to absorb a lot of pressure in the early stages of this game. Then they were disappointed to go behind. Cucurella here to the byline, wants a corner, but he's not going to get it. Goal kick to Everton as Idrissa Gueye and Tarkowski pat each other on the back for a job well done.
You mentioned the fact that Caicedo's went to play right full back there. Now, he has filled in on a number of occasions there that I've been at games. He has not filled in well when he's been in that position. He's a fine player, we all know what quality of player he is, but positionally at a right full back, he gets caught out, and he's playing against Njai now, so that's something that Everton will try and work on.
Hato gives up possession cheaply. Lovely swivel motion from Dwight McNeil, and he's helped out by Beto here. And moments like that when the players dig deep to win possession, that's what the fans love to see. Good ball for McNeil, causes a bit of panic in the back for Chelsea. Jorel Hato puts it out for a corner. Everton's first corner of the second half with 2.5 minutes played since the restart.
One of the other things I'm supposed to mention is, you know, if you've got a defender and Gusto coming off and Garnacho coming on, that's another player who's not going to be brilliant for you at corner kicks either. So it's another strength that Everton, I think, they've got to make good use of that. They've got a corner kick. The last corner Everton put in, they didn't put in. So I suspect that David Moyes will tell them, They need better quality. We shall find out if that's going to happen right now.
Dwight McNeil stands over it, short roll up, 2 steps, sends it in, left footed towards the back post. Tarkowski wins the header down, Beto close. Sanchez got there in the nick of time. Looked like Beto was going to have a tap in. Everton 1, Chelsea 0 it remains.
And what an easy header at the back post it was. Absolutely effortless, no challenge at all there. And Beto, as you say, must have been millimetres from that. Sanchez picks it up, but Chelsea already living dangerously in this second half.
Chelsea behind at half-time, and the last 7 times in the Premier League that Chelsea have been behind at the break, only once have they come back to win the match. Can they find the backbone here? Can they find some resolve as Garnacho gets involved? Down the left wing, having come on as a replacement over half-time. Into Enzo Fernandez, who tries to return it to his fellow Argentinian, but it wasn't a great pass back, and Jacob Brown is able to clear the ball away up towards Beto. Jarrell Hato trying to cling on to him. It's a real tussle between the pair of those. Hato did well, actually. Beto, who's taller physically, but there was plenty fight in the teenager Jarrell Hato there, and Chelsea hold on to possession.
I love the referee. He looked like a boxing referee. Just, well, carry on if you're both going to do that to each other at the same time. But it is a bit of a battle, and that was the thing about Beto. There are weaknesses in his game, and there's, you know, he sometimes looks as if he's got quite a bit to learn as he gets older and more mature. But I tell you what, there's no lack of effort, is there? And there's good physicality.
Today, Beto in the starting lineup in the Premier League for 4th game in a row. Longest run he's put together in a long time. David Moyes putting his faith in his number 9, and it has been rewarded so far. Very sharp finish from Beto in the first half, and Everton with a lead to defend now as Pedro Neto comes veering along the halfway line, cutting it off the wing on the right hand side. Cole Palmer rolls the ball forward, but that's not a good pass. Too far in front of Joe Pedro, easily intercepted by Tarkowski, and then Pickford is able to clear it long towards the halfway line. Jordan Pickford, who's making his 138th Premier League start in a row today. There's only one Premier League player who's on a longer current run than that. That's Fulham keeper Bernd Leno, who today earlier on in our 3 o'clock commentary on 5 Live, he played his 143rd Premier League start in a row, the Fulham German goalkeeper. Here come Everton on the attack with Kiernan Dewsbury Hall down the left wing. Casado trying to keep up with him. Support now from Njai, just outside the penalty area. Dwight McNeil more centrally, tries to return it to Njai, but it's cut out by Fofana, and Chelsea regain possession once again. 1-0 to Everton on 5 Live. James Garner slides in to win possession for the home side. And Trezeguet tries to pick out Beto, but it's cut out by Cucurella, and Chelsea have it back on the edge of their own penalty area.
Finding some dangerous positions, Everton just now in the kind of 10 area behind the striker. Time and again now at the start of the second half, Dewsbury Hall's had it. Gay, he was in a good position there. So was Njai at some point. Now, none of them had a shot on target, but they should have had a goal.
Here come Chelsea on the attack. Enzo Fernandez, he's a long way out. He was sort of shaping as if he might be interested in a shot there. It was only a dummy, and while he had that hesitation, Dewsbury Hall was able to nip in and win possession back for Everton. But then Romeo Lavia does the same for Chelsea. High turnover of the ball at the moment. This is Enzo Fernandez out to Garnacho, 10 yards outside the penalty area, left hand side, gives it back in field to Enzo Fernandez, but no obvious pass forward, and he retreats once again. And they've been quite conservative in their play, Chelsea. They're not taking risks, and maybe they need to gamble a little bit more. Pedro Neto tries to come in off the wing on the far side. Njai tries to unsettle it. Good work by Njai, sending Chelsea back to the halfway line again.
It's just infuriatingly slow if you're a Chelsea fan. You can tell, you can feel the frustration knowing that you get the ball, you've got limited opportunities to get forward. Chelsea have got quality players up there. João Pedro's thinking, get the ball to me quick and I might be able to do something. I'm absolutely sure Cole Palmer feels the same way. But as I'm speaking, I could keep on talking now, couldn't I? You know what's happening?
Yeah.
They're passing it, and they're passing it, and they're passing it. They'll need to speed it up at some point, Chelsea.
Yeah, into the final third. They need someone to sort of get an order to things. They need Pat Nevin in the coffee room at half-time, who, amidst the long queue, Pat took over and started pouring coffee for all the media. Got things moving.
Yeah. And Julia Boulder alongside us of Radio 5 Live.
Are you suggesting that she was slowing things down?
No, she was moving. She understood. She got the gig.
Good, I'm glad to have that clarification. Here's a good run. Cole Palmer gets away from Garner, but then can't pick the pass to João Pedro. Chelsea toothless in attack at the moment. They really are. They build up through the midfield fine, but they're offering nothing at the final attacking end of the pitch.
It's got a look of an elongated five-a-side game at the moment, hasn't it? There's so much space in that midfield that it is bizarre the way this game has started in the second half. Chelsea, I have to say, look very, very tired.
Very tired, very lethargic, and the opposite to be said about Everton, who were up on their toes and spinning the passes around and full of hard running. This is Dewsbury Hall, and he's tackled by Caicedo. Free kick to Everton. It's not a shooting position. It's wide out on the left wing, but it's level with the edge of the penalty area that Everton attack. If you're just joining our coverage here, Everton 1, Chelsea 0 amid darkening skies on Merseyside.
Do you know, when I look at a lot of players and they're walking about and they've got kind of slightly hangdog expression on their faces. Look, Chelsea have got a lot. We could talk about this after a game even. I'm sure there'll be phone-ins that will have exactly the same conversation. Chelsea have played all the way through last season and then all the way through the summer, and then they've had a whole bunch of injuries. Like, surprised are we? No, of course you're not. But at this point in time, they look absolutely gone. There's a lot of players out there, maybe Enzo Fernandez more than anyone else. He just looks lumping, and he's not that type of player.
Free kick to Everton, crossing position on the left-hand side. Chelsea bringing everyone back into a defensive position to try and keep Everton out here. Here it comes from Garner, right-footed towards the keeper. Oh, it nearly became a shot in the end. He landed into the net. Sanchez, and he's hurt himself here. I think he might have collided with the post. It was a cross that became a shot towards the top corner. The keeper, Sanchez, backpedaling, caught it above his head, hit against the post, looked as if it might have even gone over the goal line, but referee holding up play to ensure that Sanchez is all right and play will resume with an uncontested drop ball.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a knee. He's not badly injured unless he's rocked his left ankle or his right ankle when he went down on the net.
Tell you what, the ball very nearly went in there, Pat.
The unorthodox way he caught it, when his body lands in the net instead of going and attacking it. By the way, I'm just having a look at the applause that's going on just now. It's Yakubu and Tim Cahill. And I should know that because that's the two guys I was sitting with for lunch before the game.
all the legends here today. Yakubu, Cahill, Nevin.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Peter Reid was down there before them, and Adrian Heath as well.
That's not a bad five-a-side. As Everton have possession here. We just saw a replay of that Sanchez incident again. He sort of fell back, his armpit sort of into the post. It would have hurt him, but he's been okay to continue on. Everton 1-0 in front here. 10 minutes played in the second half. Cole Palmer collects possession on the halfway line for Chelsea. Chelsea, who've got Sanchez in goal. They've now got Caicedo right back, Fofana, Hato, Cucurella, with then Lavia and Enzo Fernandez in the midfield, and then Palmer, Neto, Garnacho and João Pedro in attack. There's plenty of attacking talent for Liam Rosenior, but his team haven't been able to utilise much of it lately. They're not creating opportunities, and Everton get another free kick here. João Pedro's furious with that, and he's got to be careful. He slings his arm in the air and he shouts at the referee. No further action taken, but it will be a free kick to Everton, who are doing well here, holding on to their lead. Liam Rosenior wants further changes here to try and buck up the thoughts of his players. He's bringing on Santos. So on comes Andre Santos into the midfield in place of Romeo Lavia, who was never going to play the full 45 minutes today on what is only his second Premier League start of the season and the first in several months. So Santos, who's been a regular starter in midfield lately, goes in to operate alongside Enzo Fernandez.
Well, you're also talking about the centre-backs at Chelsea changing all the time. How about two centre midfield positions? I mean, that is constant changing around, and again, underline, this isn't just rotation. There's a lot of injured players there. Reece James was a player they'd prefer to have in there. They would like to have Caicedo in there, but they ain't got a right back just now. At the moment, you look at Chelsea, and they are seriously suffering.
Poor first touch by Andre Santos, gives the ball to Jake O'Brien, and O'Brien in turn is fouled. Free kick to Everton, dangerous position just outside the penalty area. Beto's goal in the first half still separates them. Match of the day coming up tonight at 10:30 on BBC One. Tomorrow we'll bring you the League Cup final from Wembley. Steve Crossman will be there, all the build-up from 12 noon. We'll bring you the best of the Premier League games in the early afternoon kickoffs. We'll keep you up to date with events in the Tyne-Wear Derby, which is a 12 noon start tomorrow, and all building up to Manchester City against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final. You can listen to that game in full and live here on 5 Live tomorrow at the Hill Dickinson Stadium in Bramley-Moore Dock in Liverpool. It's a free kick to Everton, 10 yards outside the box, wide to the right-hand side. It'll either be the in-swinger from McNeil, or it might be an outswinger from Garner. Garner raises his hand as a signal. It's going to be Garner. It's played in too close to the keeper. Sanchez does well to hold it.
He does well to hold it, but he kind of half dropped it as well. And heart in the mouth moment again for Chelsea supporters. But once again, play it out quickly to the right back area. You think Chelsea are going to break at pace, but they don't move it quickly enough, and the tackle comes in. And I would say McNeil, Dewsbury Hall and Njai in that midfield area, they are putting a power of work, and they're seen as creative players, but they work their socks off too.
Everton working hard, which they did at Arsenal last weekend, and difficult for any team to go and try and win at the Emirates these days, but Everton were disappointed to leave at nothing a week ago, and I think they've carried some of that hurt into that performance here today. Having beaten Burnley in the last home league game here, are David Moyes' team going to get back-to-back home wins in the league at the stadium for the first time since moving in? This is Dewsbury Hall, lovely build-up here again. Beto, little stagger in his run to make sure he stays onside. Crossing position for Beto, into the penalty area, drags it back for James Garner, who's got Jacob Bryan outside and back into the penalty area again. Dewsbury Hall was stretching, he's headed it in towards the 6-yard box. His intended target was Beto. Too many defenders around. Maybe an opportunity here for Chelsea to try and run it out here. Enzo Fernandez, 10 yards outside his own penalty area, gives it to Cucurella on the left-hand side, but things are still very laboured for Chelsea. It takes them 3 or 4 passes every time just to get up to the halfway line. They need to somehow become more direct if they're going to get in behind this Everton defence. Enzo Fernandez comes forward, but he's now got 10 players between him and the goal.
And that's the real difficulty. If you're a striker, forward in any sense, you want the ball up there quickly because you know there's space. Pass slowly. It just limits everything in concertinas it up.
Here's Garnacho, who does have happy memories of playing against Everton. A couple of seasons back, you'll all remember his goal of the season in Manchester United colours, which was scored against Everton. He's come on as the substitute here at half-time as Chelsea trying to wrestle their way back into a game that they've been very much second best in. But this is Garnacho, still just the one goal between them. To the byline, comes off the shins of Jacob Bryan. Enzo Fernandez shoots, can save Pickford again. Well, Andre Santos was following in, João Pedro was following in. Pickford had to push that away from danger, and he did, and now it goes for a corner on the far side.
I think for other goalkeepers that's a phenomenal save. But because Pickford now is having a worldie every single week, at least one world-class save every single week, you just say that's a very good save. That's brilliant.
Corner is taken, it's an in-swinger. Mikalenko meets it at the front post. Everton haven't fully cleared. Cole Palmer has it 5 yards outside the penalty area. Decent delivery in, looking for Fofana, who's well marshalled by Jacob Bryan, and the ball harmlessly goes out for a goal kick to Everton, who lead Chelsea here by a goal to nil. We've reached the hour mark. Coming up at 8 o'clock, Leeds host Brentford in the Premier League. The teams are in for that one. Charlie Slater.
One change for Leeds, who know that another win under these floodlights would be a huge step in the direction of safety. Bogle replaces the suspended Goodmanson. 2 changes for European football chasing Brentford. Damsgaard misses out with a hip problem, and Ouattara has to settle for the bench. Pinnock and Yarmolyuk both start.
Thanks very much. In the Championship, runaway leaders Coventry. Are they running away with it at Swansea? Owain Credit.
Yes, they are. Swansea 0, Coventry 3. It's a flat second half in comparison with entertaining first. 78 minutes gone. Coventry looking comfortable, untroubled by Swansea, and the Sets increase their lead at top of the Championship to 9 points. Swansea 0, Coventry 3.
Beto gets his second goal of the game, and it's gone straight through Robert Sanchez. Everton fans around us are ecstatic. Beto shot on target, but it seemed to be going back never into the ribcage of the goalkeeper. It's just gone straight through Sanchez, and Beto is on a hat-trick now. Everton 2, Chelsea 0. Are Everton going to win back-to-back at home in the Premier League for the first time here at the stadium?
Well, first of all, let's say well done to Everton, what they did there. I mean, Gay wins the ball in midfield because he wanted to win it in midfield. 2 players he's up against, they jump out of the tackle. Now, I actually think it was Cucurella, but I certainly think involved in that there was Enzo Fernandez as well. You got to win that tackle. They don't win the tackle. Gay gets it, runs the length of the field. I say by the time he gets up the end of the field there, he's left Fernandez, I would say 50 yards behind. So he's not chased him. You need battle, you need commitment, you need to get back there. It's not happened. When it finally comes to Beto, the confidence is there. He just turns, he doesn't look, keeps it low, keeps it hard, and as you say, straight through the goalkeeper. And I'll let the goalkeeper's union decide on that, but you want to save that. It's straight at you, you expect to save that.
It doesn't make great viewing. Beto's shot straight at the keeper. It seems to hit off each of his thighs, really, goes through his legs. He tries to claw it out, but the ball had clearly gone over the goal line. You know, keepers who want to stand strong and be firm, he just seemed to crumple a bit there, Robert Sanchez, and Everton have now doubled their lead, and what a dominant position this is for David Moyes now. Lemar Senior, who's made his 2 substitutions, but Chelsea are not creating chances, and they now need to score 3 times in the closing half hour if they're going to win this game. Doesn't look good for Chelsea. Tired-looking Chelsea at the moment. Garnacho loses out. Beto full of enthusiasm now. Here he goes, Beto, charging down the right wing, but the ball goes out of play before he can get there. Oh, the place is abuzz now.
It is. Do you know, I talked to a couple of Everton fans on the way back up, down for a cup of tea beforehand, and they said, this is here on the plate for us. That's what they were thinking. The Everton fans were looking at Chelsea and thinking, we can do this. What we need to get is 1 more goal and we'll be fine. Well, let's find out if that is the case, because they've got that 1 more goal, and they deserve to be 2-0 up now. For pure effort, if nothing else, they deserve to be. And Chelsea at the moment in time, they look shattered.
An important synergy to mention is Beto's goal in the first half came almost immediately after a brilliant Jordan Pickford save, and the same thing has happened in the second half. It was just before the goal that Pickford made that important block to put it out for the corner, and then Everton get it down the other end, and Beto doubles the lead as Idrissa Gueye tries to flick the ball clear. Andre Santos will get it back inside the Everton half for Chelsea, but it will be a very impressive comeback if they're able to turn that around here. Let's check on events at Ibrox. I believe there's been a goal. Rangers against Aberdeen. Kenny Crawford.
48 minutes gone, it's Rangers 2, Aberdeen 0, and 18-year-old Mikey Moore, on loan from Spurs, has scored his 6th goal of the season. The ball laid into his path by Ryan Nadiri, and he steered it round the goalkeeper and off the post, and it's Rangers 2, Aberdeen 0.
Earlier on today, Hearts beat Dundee by a 1-0, closing in on what could be their first title in 66 years. 7 more games now for Hearts. Can they keep it up? As here at Everton, Cucurella has possession, gives it out to Garnacho on the left-hand side. Cucurella tries to flick the ball, that's not fooling Idrissa Gueye, and Pickford is able to clear it away. So 2-0 to Everton.
You just have a look at the senior. He's got Esteval on the bench, and they need somebody that's going to do something special. They've got to open up. You know, just think of outside the box, as I mentioned before. They've just not done that enough. Cole Palmer is a player you would expect to do that, and you would hope to do that if you're a Chelsea supporter. It's just not happening for Cole just now. But there's other players around him that are just not providing it. Garnacho's come on, and to be fair with Garnacho, you know, he's getting himself into good positions, but he never looks as if he's going to go by his fullback Garnacho. So someone's got to do something different if you're Chelsea.
That's the voice of Pat Nevin watching this game with us here on 5 Live, as Njai comes forward for Everton into Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. This is one of the best atmospheres I've seen at this new stadium. Mikolenko sends it across on the left-hand side, and Hato, I'll tell you what, cool as you like, just touches the back pass to Sanchez. That was definitely one of those that could have gone wrong, as João Pedro, very obvious push to the back of Tarkowski. Free kick to Everton. Chelsea look in trouble. We're almost midway through the second half. If you're just joining our coverage here, 5 Live, BBC Sounds, the World Service. This is the tea time kickoff for the Premier League, and it's 2 goals for Beto. Everton 2, Chelsea 0.
Yeah, and again, take nothing away from Everton and the Everton fans in here and the effort they've put into this. You know, I'm not saying it's a team that's been cobbled together, but you're talking about the amount of money that's actually been spent in comparison with Chelsea. Everyone always talks about 1.5 billion that's been spent on bringing players in, but they look threadbare. That Chelsea group looks threadbare, and as I've said quite a few times, they look exhausted and they're just hanging on now.
Free kick taken by Garner. Tarkowski wins the first header. Fofana's under pressure here. Jake O'Brien putting that pressure on him. It's going to fall to Dewsbury Hall here on the edge of the penalty area, and he swings in across, and Beto is looking for a hat-trick, jumps but can't get there, and all Garnacho could do is clear his lines, and Chelsea really scrambling here. Everton 2, Chelsea 0 all season long, this first campaign at their new home. Everton have only earned a grand total of 1 solitary point against visiting teams in the top half of the table. Are they going to beat Chelsea here? But here comes Garnacho looking to change the narrative, but he can't beat Garner. And Tarkowski comes back to help too. And there was no thrust from Garnacho there. That was a good, promising position, but he never looked like he was going to finish it off as Andre Santos battles for the ball and clutches it to Dwight McNeil, who goes down hurt. Referee plays on. It's not a head injury. Enzo Fernandez to João Pedro. Back to Enzo Fernandez. Out comes Pickford. Good save. Puts it out for a corner. Corner to Chelsea on the left-hand side, and McNeil can get some treatment here.
Yeah, Garnacho at the moment is rolling about, and he's been yellow carded. But however, he feels as if he was punched off the ball. Now, if he was punched off the ball, and the way he's gone down would suggest he has been poleaxed. And it's got to be a Brian. No one else was near him there. We couldn't see an angle around there, but Garnacho rolling about as if he'd been absolutely battered. Now, we've just seen a replay of it now. And it's not a punch, his arm's gone out a little bit. Yeah, it's a tricky one, but they'll look at it. They'll definitely look at it. You can't ignore that, with a player going down, rolling around as if he's been...
All right,
it's more of a handoff, isn't it?
We're going to go for an update to Ibrox. In fact, let's quickly do it now. Kenny Crawford.
52 minutes gone, Rangers 2, Aberdeen 1. Dennis Geiger, the German midfielder on loan from Hoffenheim. Rangers overplaying it at the back. They were rolled by Aberdeen, and Geiger rolled it really nicely into the bottom left-hand corner. Aberdeen's first away goal since December. Rangers 2, Aberdeen 1.
Thanks, Kenny. Here goes the corner. Enzo Fernandez from the left-hand side swings it in. Michael Keane with a firm forehead to head it way outside the penalty area and send Chelsea all the way back to Sanchez, the goalkeeper, away to our right-hand side. Chelsea have made another change. I mean, so much attacking talent at his disposal, having brought on Garnacho. He's now brought on Estevao. Estevao has taken the place of Pedro Neto as Sanchez, the goalkeeper, clears long into the Everton half. It's going to fall for Iliman Ndiaye here near the halfway line. Idrissa Gueye, tackled by Andre Santos. That's better for Chelsea. Now Cole Palmer running from the halfway line towards the Chelsea penalty area. Everton penalty area. Plenty of Evertonian defenders back there. Palmer, little 1-2 with Estevao. Tries to send in a low cross, comes off Michael Keane and goes out for a corner. Chelsea trying to get it together here, but they've such a steep hill to climb, trailing 2-0.
They have, but look at the difference Estevao's made already. I mean, saying 10-15 minutes ago, bring him on. You know, at least he'll make something happen. He'll try to make something happen. He'll go past somebody. First time he gets the ball, puts Cole Palmer into the byline. Half decent chance for Chelsea.
Estevao's first appearance since early February. Tries to shoot for the corner. It comes off the crossbar. That was an in-swinger that was going goal bound. Comes back off the frame of the goal. Still alive here from Moise Caicedo. In the D of the penalty area, the Chelsea attack, but Kieran Dewsbury Hall tackles him, and now Iliman Ndiaye up to McNeil. Chance of a counter-attack here. McNeil's going to run over the halfway line. Now, who's with him? Ndiaye has continued that run. Iliman Ndiaye, who started all this at left-back, is about to enter the penalty area. Can Everton seal it here? Ndiaye's shot is saved. Saved by Sanchez.
Absolutely, brilliant move, Everton. But the work, the hard work for the likes of McNeil and Ndiaye, but definitely Dewsbury Hall as well. And you compare that with the players that were supposed to be marking them. Enzo just chucked it. He just threw it in the towel, just stopped chasing back. Oh, he's running on fumes, that player out there just now.
Over on BBC television right now, you can watch the Athletics World Indoor Championships from Poland. Here on 5 Live, BBC Sounds of the World Service. Everton leading Chelsea by 2-0. Liam Rosenior in danger of succumbing to a 4th defeat in a row in all competitions, the way things are going. His team have possession. Jarrell Hato 10 yards outside the penalty area. They attack. Swings in across. Mikolenko was able to block it, and Iliman Ndiaye puts the big boot on that, and now Beto goes sprinting after, and he's hungry, Beto, and he gets there ahead of Fofana, and he just barrels the defender out of the way. That's really good from Beto. There's an attitude here about Everton, and the home fans are absolutely loving it.
And the difference being, you see that from Everton players, you just don't see that sort of fight and battle and chasing and hurting themselves the same way from the Chelsea players. And that just tells you how much you need to know about the Premier League. If you're not up to it in every single way, particularly in work rate, you'll get found out.
Are Chelsea going to lose here? Are they going to miss out on the opportunity of returning to the top four? Pickford has to come out of his penalty area to get there ahead of João Pedro. Hato controls inside the Chelsea half, and in the end it goes all the way back to the goalkeeper. If it stays like this, Everton go up 3 places. They move ahead of Brighton and Fulham, who won earlier on today, and Everton would move ahead of Brentford too, as Mikalenko gets in ahead of Estevao and heads the ball out of play.
Well, they'd be 2 points behind Chelsea, and you're not writing Chelsea out of the possibilities of Champions League football, so this is a huge game for both teams. And as you mentioned correctly about Liverpool and Manchester United not getting the 3 points, Chelsea will be gutted. Having said that, this game is not over. There's enough talented players in white down there to change this game around, but they need that first goal, Chelsea.
Yeah, how many twists and turns have we seen in this Premier League season? It's never over till it's over. That said, Everton in a very good position, leading here by 2-0. So if you're not writing Chelsea out of the Champions League, does that mean you're writing Everton into that conversation?
Tell you in 17 minutes time.
This is Chelsea in possession. Caicedo, a little bit of a fish out of water, playing it right back. Gives it to Estevao, running up against Mikalenko. Estevao gets around Mikalenko, gets around Njai. Oh, he's electric, Estevao, and he gets to the byline, and eventually he's stopped by Tarkowski. Out it goes for a corner. I mean, when he goes in full flight, he's magic, Estevao.
What a difference to Chelsea as soon as he comes on. And the answer is quite simple now. Every time you get the ball, get it out to Estevao and try and isolate him with the fullback, because he is destroying them. He's only been on for 5 minutes.
Estevao takes the corner, hit the crossbar with the last one. Another in-swinger. Santos was close, but just fractionally too high, and that flashes out for a goal kick.
He's going for a shot there.
He is.
Again, it's twice.
Definitely, yeah.
It's twice in a row. He's tried to score for the corner. Once he's hit the crossbar, the other one just went past the post there. Very, very close indeed to just trapping it at the back post, and of course somebody can go and attack it as well. So Estevao looking very good. And as we watch it again now, Santos maybe should have done a little bit better with that at the back post.
Labour Senior is furiously scribbling in his notebook, and looks like he might be preparing another change. I'm just thinking, Pat, this exact time a week ago, we were sat in North London, we were at the Emirates, we were watching Everton away at Arsenal, and I'm thinking for Mikalenko, a week ago, he had Max Dowman come on, and he to try and cope with that, and here now, he's got Estevao. As Everton come on the attack down the other end, this is Njai, into the penalty area, that's it! Third goal for Everton! It's a blue day on Merseyside! Iliman Njai to the top corner! There are 15 minutes to go, but Chelsea ain't coming back from this! And Everton are about to move up to 7th in the Premier League table. They're about to win at home, back-to-back in the Premier League for the very first time at this stadium, and they are taking Chelsea to the cleaners here.
It is an extraordinary result here, and Everton, you can't see anything other than the fact that they absolutely deserve it. I'm looking over to where the Chelsea fans are, or should that be where? They've all just about gone now, they've walked out. Now this hasn't been a happy, well, Everton away is not a happy hunting ground over the last few years, but this is different. They've been so well beaten here, but in every area of the game, they've created a few chances, Chelsea, but Everton have fought and battled to such a way that it has shown up Chelsea. Now, then you need to find out the reason why that's happening. Is it they're not buying into the manager? Is it they're just exhausted after the season they've had? Are they just beaten on the day? All of those are possibilities. They have to find out which is the most important thing, because 3-0 and 3 defeats in a row is awful for Chelsea.
Everton 3, Chelsea 0. They are showing replay after replay of that Iliman Njai goal, that finish on the huge, enormous big screens here, and Everton fans are enjoying every angle. Iliman Njai, I think he's going to be taken off now, actually. That was his last action, is it? I'm not sure. He's running over towards the technical area. No, I think he's just savouring the moment, isn't he? He was to run around and have a little high five with everyone. Iliman Njai, he was due that one. Yeah. Only one goal in his last 13 appearances before today. Scored a penalty against Bournemouth in February. That's been his only Everton goal since early November. Iliman Njai scores a goal that surely seals the win for Everton here. McNeil, who has been hobbling a little bit for a while, goes off, replaced by Jared Branthwaite. David Moyes taking off a winger here to bring on a central defender. He's not going to give Chelsea a sniff now as Liam Rosenior, I think the horse is bolted, but he brings on Liam Delap and he also brings on Tosin.
Yeah, the horse is definitely bolted for that one. And Everton now can almost be comfortable. You sit there, defend very, very deep. If they like to defend deep, you have to do something special. And if I was certainly if I was an Everton player just now, I'd just be saying, don't do anything silly. Don't make any easy errors that gives Chelsea a way back into it. But at this point in time, with 12 minutes to go, it seems a lot for Chelsea, and they don't look as if they've got much apart from this today.
It feels like it's all over for Chelsea. It is all over at Swansea. Owen Gwynedd.
Swansea 0, Coventry 3. Coventry extend their lead at the top of the Championship to 9 points. 3 goals in an action-packed first half from the clinical Sky Blues. Thomas Asante penalty, Matt Grimes and Sakamoto strikes took the wind out of the wasteful Swansea sails. It's Swansea's first home defeat since November, bringing their playoff hopes to a probable end. Swansea 0, Coventry 3.
And there's a goal at Ibrox, Rangers Aberdeen, Kenny Crawford.
62 minutes gone, Rangers 3, Aberdeen 1, and it's Nico Raskin who's restored their 2-goal advantage. The Belgian on hand to stab home after Tavernier's free kick was only half cleared. Rangers 3, Aberdeen 1.
Earlier on today, Hearts continued their pursuit of the title, winning by a goal to nil against Dundee, continuing a run of 1-0 victories, which have been very satisfying for their supporters. Jake O'Brien here rolls the ball back to Pickford. Jordan Pickford, who would love a clean sheet today, he launches it long towards the halfway line. Tosin, who's come on as a sub for Chelsea, controls it. Here comes Cole Palmer. Chelsea will battle on here, but it does feel like their race is run. Here's Estevao into the penalty area. He's been brilliant since coming on. Takes on the ball, tries to get past 3 defenders, and in the end wins a corner. But it's all happening amid deafening Everton singing here. Chelsea take the corner short. Palmer back to Estevao with the gloves on, swings it in. Too much on that one, goes out to an Everton roar for an Everton goal kick.
Lack of belief, but Everton are going to make another substitution. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Beto for Barry to come on just now. And Beto's often taken off a little bit earlier, isn't he? But the manager wanted to give him a chance to get that hat-trick. They just come up with the board now, and yes, exactly what we expected it to be. And he will be seriously applauded by this crowd, who know the limitations that he has in his game, but no, there is no limit to the amount of work he puts into it.
Big performance for Beto. This feels a bit of a moment for him. He is very much departing the field, looking like the hero. His opening goal, where he sprinted onto a great through ball from James Garner to then dink it over the advancing goalkeeper, and the second one he just blasted through Sanchez. You'll see those goals tonight on Match of the Day, 10:30 on BBC One. But on comes Tierno Barry, fresh legs into the Everton attack, and they've got 9 minutes of normal time to hold on here for what is surely going to be a big home win for Everton this evening.
Interesting reaction to Barry coming on there. I've heard more positive reactions.
He scored in the win at Newcastle 3 games ago, Tierno Barry. So Dewsbury Hall tries to attack down the left-hand side. Up against Andre Santos here. Dewsbury Hall veers infield of him. Tried to lay it in front of Garner. It was actually a good idea, but Garner wasn't expecting that. And now Garnacho will pick it up for Chelsea and try to clear away. It was just said about Tierno Barry. Scored in the win against Newcastle 3 games ago. That's been his only shot on target in these last 7 Premier League games. So he's not really been delivering the goods for David Moyes' team, but he's going to, you would feel, get chances here the way Chelsea's defence have been operating. Cole Palmer trying to come forward for the visitors. Tries to break into the penalty area down the right-hand side, but it's again, it feels like individuals trying to take them all on rather than a team effort. You've got Estevao and Cole Palmer trying to pull off spectacular rather than any sort of focus for Liam Rosenior's team.
Well, at least they're trying to do that. They weren't doing that in the first half. They weren't doing that for the first 60, 70 minutes or so. It was also static, also dull, also one-dimensional.
Here's Liam Delap, who's come on as a sub. He'll collect the ball down by the byline on the right-hand side. 8 minutes of normal time to play. 5 live BBC sounds of the World Service. Dickinson Hill Stadium. And this is Andre Santos across to Garnacho, back again to Gerald Hato. Everton fans loving it, and Chelsea fans facing a long, disappointing journey back down south. Those who've remained, it looks like there's only about a quarter of the Chelsea contingent are still in their seats here, as Tosun gets it near the centre circle. Now 7 minutes of normal time to play as the clock continues to tick on. Garnacho, left-hand side. Enzo, Fernandes, Hato. Everton with all 11 players back behind the ball. Branthwaite winning the header. He's playing in there alongside Tarkowski and Keane. 3 central defenders now for Everton. They're ready to cope with anything that comes in aerially. As Andre Santos has it here. Midway into Everton half, low to the feet of Cucurella, to the edge of the penalty area. Delap, good ball. Garnacho, angle is tight, pulls it back and cleared away by Michael Keane. That was better from Chelsea. They haven't got into the penalty area like that very often today, as Njai commits a foul here, and Enzo Fernandez free kick to Chelsea left-hand side.
Well, it's good to see Garnacho doing it. I mean, so rarely does he go down the line. You know, it's so often he stops when he comes up against one-on-one against the defender, turns inside, tries to have a shot with his right foot. Now and again, you've got to ask the question out wide. And I know you do your commentators podcast now and again, Connor.
Sometimes as a guest, yeah.
As a guest, yes. There's a couple of things we missed today. The first goal, slide rule pass. That was a slide rule pass.
Yeah,
that was
good.
Made for slide rule passes.
I like that, yeah.
But certainly this one, I'm thinking, in commentators podcast, players who are booed. You know, you could actually pick a team of 11 that are booed wherever they go.
Wherever they go.
I think there's 2 of them on the pitch today.
So that's into the glossary on the Commentators View podcast, which you can pick up on the Football Daily feed. This week featuring a guest appearance by none other than producer supreme Gary Flintoff is the big guest. So that's what you're going to listen to on the way home, Pat, on the 5 Live Football Daily feed. Chelsea taking forever to take this free kick, considering they're 3-0 down. Estevao swings it in. Pickford comes leaping like Superman. Clark Kent up off the goal line to punch the ball away. Chance of a counter-attack. Fofana's down injured in the box. Chelsea playing with 10 men. Wide open space for Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Can Everton get their 4th? Dewsbury Hall against his old team, and it's saved. Saved by Sanchez at the near post. Everton have been exhilarating today on the counter-attack.
They have been, and Chelsea look a little bit of a mess just now. And you know, when you get a game like this and you're 3-0, you start looking at the results leading up to this. You know, 3-0 against PSG, 5-2 PSG, 1-0 Newcastle. It's a really difficult run. Not that many goals scored. Hell of a lot going on the other side. This is a very, very tough time for Chelsea and for their coach, Mourinho.
4.5 minutes of normal time to play. There'll be a little bit of stoppages added on, but it won't be much. Surely it's not going to be enough for Liam Rosenior today. Mykolenko, Everton fans are cheering every pass now. Branthwaite on the far side, doing little drag backs to himself to try and keep it away from Cole Palmer. And eventually the ball goes out of play off Palmer, and that's going to be a Everton throw-in. And they will savour and enjoy all of these moments now. Everton, who go to Brentford next. That's after the international break. Then it's the Merseyside derby here. First ever Merseyside derby at this stadium. And Everton, it would appear, will go into that on the back of, you know, successive home wins in the Premier League, and given the fact that Liverpool lost again today, that's going to be an interesting derby, Pat.
Absolutely. I mean, Everton fans are probably more hope for that derby than they've had for one for a long, long time. The way they're playing, the spirit they've got, the atmosphere there is in this ground. And I think it might be something got to do with me. I've only been down here 3 times. The atmosphere's been brilliant in every one of the games. The opening game of the season, Everton win against Brighton, that was phenomenal for them as well. So this place, when it's rocking, it is a great noise, and it's a brilliant ball.
There is no doubt they've done a great job building this stadium, and on days like today, David Moyes' team look very much worthy of the venue. Mykolenko tries to attack down the left-hand side. He's covered out there. Chelsea need to get it away. Estevao pumps it all the way up to the halfway line. Tarkowski will win those headers all day long. Iliman Ndiaye still buzzing after his goal that made it 3-0 here. Everton 3, Chelsea 0. Miserable for the visitors as Jake O'Brien rolls it back to Pickford again. 3 minutes of normal time to play. Chelsea's games coming up after the international break. 3 home games in a row after this. They host Port Vale in the FA Cup. They host Manchester City in the Premier League. And then Manchester United go to Stamford Bridge. That's also in the league.
It's one of the things I was saying, you know, when Rosenior took over. You got a bit the softest intro that you could possibly get with games in Premier League. But he did well with them, and it was fantastic. And I did feel at the time, we'll wait until the tough games come, then try and have a decision, make an informed decision. It hasn't gone well so far in those tough games.
Garnacho down the left wing for Chelsea. Surely just playing for pride now. 3-0 down. Enzo Fernandez tries to turn. Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall's not giving up here. Keeps up the battle all the way until he won the ball on the edge of his own penalty area. And then Iliman Ndiaye is taken down by a frustrated Cucurella. And that's a free kick to Everton, and they very visibly wanted Cucurella to get a yellow card there, but it wasn't shown. Another double change coming up for David Moyes. Two midfielders about to come on. Merlin Roll, the German, and Tim Irabunum will come on as well. Irabunum, who started at Arsenal last weekend. So fresh legs into the midfield to ensure there is no late drama here from an Everton point of view. We've only got 90 seconds of normal time to play anyway.
Yeah, and I think a chance for one or two players to walk off and get that round of applause, and certainly Ndiaye deserved it. I mean, every time you watch him, you just think you could play almost any standard, any team. You would add something to it because of the skills, but also the work rate, the willingness to do it for the team as well. And when you see this goal that he scored, top corner, and to be fair, see, sometimes you see the ball going in top corner and it's not really top corner. That's top corner. It's right in the corner. Keeper's not within 2 feet of it.
Yeah, you do your internet image search for a picture of the top corner. That's what the top corner. That's real top corner from Iliman Ndiaye, and didn't he enjoy it? And Everton, who, you know, I mean, the season is flying by, really. Only 3 more home games remaining in this first campaign at their new home for Everton. It really does feel a bit of a moment, this. It feels a statement for Everton, and it's going to be intriguing to see if they can follow it up. They beat Burnley last time. They're surely about to beat Chelsea here. David Moyes' team are beginning to get it rolling at their new home. Away form has been good all season, really. It's been here that's been let down. And if they can combine the two, well, could be interesting times for Everton in that hunt for a European place between now and the end of the campaign. Chelsea in disarray. Liam Delap here, surely been fouled by Tarkowski. Yes, that's going to be a free kick to Chelsea near the centre circle.
Yeah, but what about the battling? Right till the end, Tarkowski. He's not turned off for a millisecond. They want a clean sheet just now. There is 5 minutes extra to be played here. But the pride that they've got in that defending that they're doing just now is so obvious and so notable. They're desperate for this clean sheet, Everton.
Into those 5 minutes that have been added on for stoppages, Enzo Fernandez is going to take the free kick for Chelsea. Utterly miserable day. Pickford has made 2 good saves, so it's not like Chelsea haven't created anything, but they've not created anywhere near enough. Free kick comes straight back out to Enzo Fernandez here. All his outfield players ahead of him. Plays it into the penalty area. Branthwaite jumping wins the header. Straight to Cole Palmer. Right hand side of the pitch as Chelsea come forward. Being pursued by a hungry Tim Irabunum, who's only just been sprung from the bench. Irabunum sticking to Palmer like glue there, forcing him back. Chelsea still have possession though. Enzo Fernandez, crossfield ball out to the left wing to Alejandro Garnacho, taking on Merlin Roll, sends it across. That's happened too many times today for Chelsea. An overcooked cross, too high for everyone in the centre. I've lost count of how many times Chelsea have done that today.
Yeah, well, at least they got some players in the box there, but I mean, Everton know exactly what Chelsea are going to do there. They know precisely what they're going to do. It's going to come up to Garnacho. You're going to stop and you're going to tell him to go back. You're going to go back and he's going to put a curled in cross. That's what Everton centre-backs love. They absolutely adore. That's the thing. And when that ball was played in there, Jordan Pickford was playing with him, wasn't he? He threw his hand up and then drew it away as if to say, this is too easy. This isn't even drawing a bead of sweat from my brow.
Everton 3, Chelsea 0. It's almost over. And it's turning into a good weekend for Aston Villa, who don't play until tomorrow, because the 2 teams directly below them, Liverpool and Chelsea, now about to be beaten this weekend already. And a bit of a reprieve for Manchester United, who are still in 3rd place and would remain there even if Villa win tomorrow. Just that little gap now between Manchester United on 55 points and then Liverpool, Chelsea, Everton back on 49, 48, 46 as things stand for now. Here's Irabunum, far side of the pitch from us. The left as Everton come forward. Takes on Andre Santos. He's still going, Irabunum. He's into the penalty area now. And it's just about tipped away with the fingers of the goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez. And for a moment there, Chelsea could have gone 4-0 down.
Yeah, I mean, they have been brilliant on the break, and Eric Burnham's come on, and he looks as if he could be the best player in the pitch the last 5 minutes. They have got a little bit more strength and depth that David Moyes has added to the team over this little while. And the fact that you haven't even had to really bring on Branthwaite earlier or anything like that really does help Everton. The fact that they've got strength and depth that they haven't had for a long, long time. Because you mentioned, by the way, nothing happening here because Chelsea have got a player down injured. If Everton do manage to sneak into European football, the squad's not big enough. They need more players. So if they do keep on going between now and the end of the season, that squad needs beefed up a little bit, even though they've done incredibly well to get this far.
Tuesday, Chelsea beaten 3-0. Tonight, about to be beaten 3-0. And Liam Rosenior, I think it's safe to say the honeymoon period is over. Chelsea, who will need to buck up their ideas, still chance of the FA Cup, but given the amount of money, the contracts, the number of players,
the length of contracts,
I mean, not getting into the Champions League is a complete, enormous problem for Chelsea.
You know where I'm going after this? I'm going down to the boardroom, and I have a suspicion that Chelsea board members may have gone, and I wouldn't blame them if they haven't. I'll ask them about it.
Bad day, bad week for Chelsea. Everton fans here, you can hear in the background cheering every pass. Jake O'Brien into Merlin Roll, good work by Hatto to win it back for Chelsea. He runs into O'Brien, so he runs into Michael Keane, who was strong there. They release it up towards Tierno Barry. Barry up against Tussin, and the ball went out of play before Tierno Barry brought it back in again, so that is going to be a throw-in to Chelsea. But Everton,
no, I think it's a throw-in to Everton, definitely. Yeah, I mean, just the way that the fact that they take either Barry on, he's up front just now, or Beto, and they're doing exactly the same job so precisely. No one has to change anything, and the work rate's been very, very good. So they may not be getting millions of shots, particularly Barry, but the work rate's been good again, and they've really stretched. Both of those strikers have really stretched this Chelsea defence.
It's been a good few weeks for Everton. Sure, they lost at Arsenal last weekend. Most teams do lose there, but this is going to be 3 wins in the last 4 in the Premier League, as Chelsea lose a 4th match in a row. Liam Rosenior's beginning to feel the pinch now, but this is a big win for David Moyes. Everton win back-to-back home league games at this stadium for the very first time. 2 goals from Beto, a brilliant finishing flourish from Njai. Everton 3, Chelsea 0.
Yeah, and then first of all, the Everton, you know, they work so hard. They're actually a team you cannot help but liking. For the other limitations they may have, they will give you absolutely everything, and every player will give you everything. And that's because of the manager. The manager gets that out of the players. If you're not going to put in the miles, you're not going to be at Everton Football Club under David Moyes. And it just shows every player out there, from Njai on the left wing all the way back to the right fullback, O'Brien. They will just give you absolutely everything. And the best thing you can say about manager is you get the best out of your individual players and the best out of the group. Then you turn to Chelsea. Are they getting the best out of those players? Absolutely not. You know, Cucurella, he's a fabulous player. You hardly mentioned his name today, did you? You're not getting the best out of some of the really special players. Now, there might be reasons for it. They might be tired. But Cole Palmer is a shadow at the moment, an absolute shadow of the genius player that he knows he's capable of being. And just looking at the midfield here, you could spend a lot of time analysing and taking this apart, but I spent a lot of time watching Enzo Fernandez during this game today. All action, hard-working, passionate player of the past. That's not what you're seeing just now. He's quite the opposite of that right now. Loses the ball, standing watch it, people were in 40 yards off him. You need to find out why that's happened if you're Chelsea Football Club, because that can't be allowed to happen in the Premier League.
Everton players are savouring the moment here. They're walking around the stadium doing a victory lap. David Moyes down amongst them, clenched fist, absolutely loving this. The Chelsea players, well, some of them at least, have gone over to applaud in front of the visiting fans. I think we're going to hear on 606 from a few unhappy Chelsea fans tonight, Pat. It's not happening for Liam Rosenior, and he tried a lot of different things today, putting Caicedo there at right back, bringing on Garnacho, bringing on Estevao. He's trying all the tools at his disposal, but it's just not happening at the moment.
Not at the moment. You remember, again, we underline it wasn't a bad start. We had a pretty good start, again, against probably teams from the either A not playing well at the bottom end of the table. But it's not about that. I mean, Chelsea expect and need to be a team that are top 4 or 5. They need Champions League football. And at the moment, the way they're playing just now, they're fading away from that. But then again, Liverpool aren't pulling up any trees. And you look at, Manchester United have a very, very good run, but they're not running away from it. So there's still a possibility. But the real fear, the massive, massive fear that you've got just now for Chelsea is there enough? Is there enough belief there? Is there enough players looking around at each other? I mean, I can ask you a question. I know you always ask me the questions, Connor. Who is the leader out there for Chelsea? Can you answer that question?
And this is the problem. It's all well and good saying we've such a young team, and they are very young, average age 24, but you're right, they don't have that grown-up presence in the team.
Yeah, leaders can be young players. But someone like Reece James isn't there tonight. He's a leader, and he's a leader by the way he acts. Not necessarily, shouting and bawling and controlling things in the middle of the park, but the way he acts as a true professional when he's on there, and he's respected as well. There's something else you need in the midst of that as well. And oddly enough, the name drop, which won't go down well with Evertonians. I was having lunch with Graham Souness just the other day, and he was saying exactly the same thing. But he's about the 400th person said it to me, that if you've not got them in, and it's the old one of, you don't win anything with kids. Look, we've heard that before. But you will win things with kids, but they need a bit of help sometimes, or young players. And at this point in time, that looks like a problem. But also, let's not forget it, loads of injuries on top of that. They've had a change of manager again during the season, and I say again because it's happened regularly over the last 4 or 5 years. But absolutely on top of that, and we all knew it was going to happen. You played all the way through last summer, and you kept on going, and you had 2 weeks off, and you had 2 games. That's all you had, 2 games over a weekend as your pre-season. There's a reason why people have pre-seasons. The reason why they have a break, because you need it. So trying to figure out which one of them's the problem. There'll be Chelsea fans that will phone up 606 and say, look, it's the manager, it's the coach, they're not doing it for him. And they've every right to say that as well. You know what the suspicion is? It's either most or all of the above.
Yeah, that is the problem. 606 coming up with Natalie Pike and Chris Sutton on 5 Live. Your chance to get on the air tonight. 08085 909 693 is the number. Is here inside Everton's home. They've won at home in the Premier League back-to-back for the first time, and you can tell so many of the fans don't want to leave here. They are enjoying, relishing these moments. 2 goals from Beto, 1 from Iliman Njai. Let's see how things are developing in the Rangers-Aberdeen game, which kicked off 15 minutes after this one. Kenny Crawford's and Ibrox.
84 minutes gone, corner it's still Rangers 3, Aberdeen 1, so Rangers on course to halving Hearts' lead at the top from 6 points to 3 points. Aberdeen have had a bit of life in them the last few minutes. Lazetic hit the side netting, and then Olasanya fired over, and then Ryan Nadiri for Rangers had a header which was saved by Mitov, which could have made it 4-1, but it looks like Rangers will see this out and get the win that they need. 84 minutes gone, Rangers 3, Aberdeen 1.
Thanks very much, Kenny. Thanks very much to Pat Nevin, who's been part of our commentary team here at 5 Live this evening. A game between 2 of his former clubs has been won by Everton. Everton beating Chelsea by 3-0. Remember, commentary of the League Cup final is tomorrow. 5 Live Sport on air from 12 noon. Spurs against Nottingham Forest available to listen ahead of that at 2:15. But up next on 5 Live Sport, you can have your say on all the day's action. It's time for 606 with Natalie and Chris. That's on the way next.
Coming up this weekend on 5 Live Sports.
The EFL Cup Final, live from Wembley.
Arsenal take on Manchester City.
There is a lot of new blood, so it will be amazing if we can win our first silverware for the guys who are new here.
tomorrow at 4:30.
5 Live Sports. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Are you ready to have your say? In the UK's biggest football debate, your teams, your views. Get ready. This is 606 with Natalie Pike and Chris Sutton on 5 Live.
Good evening, it's time for your 606, the nation's #1 football phone-in. Chris Sutton and I will be taking your calls until 9 p.m. tonight. Liverpool went to Brighton looking to keep up in the race for the top 4.
Early cross in, they give a well